Hi everyone, my name's Andy, the creator of Book of Skulls, and today I'm here to introduce you to a Book of Skulls playthrough. I recorded the last 5 or so games with different setups, and in the end I chose this one. The challenge with sharing this game is that there's so much content in it, a lot's going to be missed no matter what I do. Therefore, I settled on this playthrough because it showcases how competitive Book of Skulls is, with this game going right down to the wire. This is the first time I've done something like this, and I really enjoyed doing it. I would love to do it for all playthroughs, but it just took me such a long time, I'd probably need to quit my job if I was to do that. But just before we start, there was a few disclaimers I needed to run through. Number one, same as the other videos here on the Kickstarter page, everything you'll see is from a prototype. Not the production prototype, but a combination of locally printed components and homemade components as well. Number two, I included quite a lot of music in the video, and I know it will come up on the screen and say it anyway, but I just wanted to reiterate that unless otherwise specified, this is all work in progress demo music. I wouldn't normally be sharing them in this state, but I thought it would be cool to start including some bits from the soundtrack, or what might be on the soundtrack, you never know. And lastly, as it's 2023, I do need to say that there was no AI used in the creation of Book of Skulls. It's come 100% from a human brain. However, I do need to say for this video, I've used a text-to-speak function, so I've put in what I wanted to say and then it's read it back out for the lore sections, because let's face it, my accent is more middle of London than Middle Earth. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Now it's over to me to introduce you to what maps we're playing and the Slayers.
Okay, so first of all, we have a quick introduction to the maps. There will be a more detailed introduction during gameplay, therefore I'll keep this short for now. We have a 2-map game here of Wolven Kingdom and Gravelands. I chose these maps for this session as they play by the same mechanics. There are over 10 maps or levels, depending on what you want to call them, and some of these maps have their own navigational mechanics and gimmicks. Both Wolven Kingdom and Gravelands play by the, and I'm air quoting here, standard mechanics, and both maps are quite dense, therefore I thought they would be pretty good for an intro. And now to the Slayers. So Book of Skulls can be played between 2 to 4 players. What we have today is a 1 versus 1 game, but it can be 2 versus 2. When you have a 2 versus 2, you nominate a captain, but for today it's 1 versus 1. So you've seen me earlier, my name's Andy, and we're playing against my friend Mark. So once you've set up your game, both team captains will be rolling a d12. The winner of this d12 roll will get to pick their Slayers first, start the game as their Slayers, and also pick their starting point first. As you can see here from the map, there's 3 possible starting points, and in the case of this game we're going to watch today, Mark won this initial roll. He chose to start from the northern path, which then means I can only start from either the central or the southern path. If he chose to have started from the central path, I'd either have the northern or southern, and so on. And now let's take a look at the Slayers that Mark picked, starting off with Eragoth.
Eragoth is of half-blood, a mix of Alrin and Elna. Her mother, a high-born Alrin priestess, held a position amongst a secretive society known as the Shul, who worshipped an ancient Eversea spirit named Visator. Once uncovered, the Shul were eventually driven from the continent of Eragoth, as they often undertook in Elnor sacrifice. Eragoth's father, an Elnor and a devout Ethian, was rescued by Eragoth's mother from a Zul compound, as she had found a realization of love in their exchanges. They fled and lived a life of isolation along the coasts of the Eversea. Eragoth learned ancient magic from her mother's past, and the Ethian ways from her father's beliefs. From this, she has gained a rare combined form and faith that is often misunderstood. Following the passing of her parents, she has travelled across Eragoth. She was recently captured and due to be executed for practicing what was incorrectly identified as occult magic, and that of the Blackened Kingdom. On the day she was due to be executed, a great dragon attacked the village of Stonehelm. In the commotion, Eragoth escaped. She is now looking to use her second chance in aiding the fight against the Skeleton Witch.
Eragoth is classified as a magic slayer under the element of gloom. Starting with their battle art, we have Edge of Darkness, which deals 40 damage to 1 demon. The bonus on this art is that if you roll 5+ on a d6, you'll be adding an additional 30 damage, bringing it up to 70. Next up is Sign of the Cross, which reduces damage to Eragoth for the next 2 rounds. You'll be rolling a d6. If it's a 1 to 2, you'll be reducing that damage by 10. If it's 3 to 4, you're reducing by 20. And if it's 5 to 6, you'll be reducing it by 40. So you've got a bit of protection there. And then we have their power art called Judgment Day. Roll 8+ on a d12 to roll Eragoth Spirit Dice 3 times, and then for all Slayers to increase their rage bar by 1. Although their power art is one of the few that doesn't do any damage, what this does is gives you a great opportunity to get your Guardian more frequently. And then they have their ability called Fortunes of War, which will add 2 demon coins to any demon coins roll. Now to their elemental art. Every Slayer will have some negative damage on their elemental arts, and in all cases, the negative damage which is highest is the element which has advantage over your Slayers. Helgoth has good coverage when it comes to elemental arts, with 85 damage on Sand's element being their highest. And then for the Slayer item, Helgoth has the Aftermath. Once acquired, Helgoth's Rage will be permanently at the max level. This means that the dice roll criteria for Judgment Day will be permanently reduced to 6+. Next up we have Rose.
Rose is the leader of the Eagle Bows, a faction of the Effendrel forces famous for their legendary command of bow and arrow. Rose assumed leadership some 30 years ago, following the death of her predecessor, who perished at the axe of Gorgonoth, the now bane of Havenwatch. The Effendrel people are descended from the Valriath, a race of ancient conjurers. Within the great Valriath city of Havel stood their sacred tree, its bioluminescent bloom perpetually guarded by a chosen warrior. Although the city is now largely abandoned, the tree is still guarded by one known as the Tree Caller. This prestigious position was once granted to Rose. It was during her watch that the once bright pink plumage turned to crimson red as the bloom melted from the branches. The Effendrel people still bestow some of the magic of the Valriath. Although they appear as Elnor, they age at a much slower rate, having a life expectancy that is more than double.
Rose is classified as a weapon slayer under the element of Inferno. Rose is an archer, and what works differently for the archers in the game is that they also have a separate card which represents the bow. There are 4 different bows you can acquire, from the metal bow, heavy metal bow, black metal bow, and death metal bow. And the way you upgrade these bows is by acquiring bow ore, which is obtained from defeating bosses and in chests found across Eragoth. So you start your campaign when you're using an archer with the metal bow, and then you go from there. So starting with Rose's battle art, we have Hunter. You roll a d6. If it's a 1, you'll miss. If it's 2 to 4, you'll do grace damage. And if it's 5 to 6, you'll do a direct hit. And then that's tiered based on what bow you have. For their buff art, we have Excel, which reduces the roll criteria of Ararocalypse by 1 in the next round, and also Rose recovers 25 HP. And then for the power art, we have Ararocalypse. You roll 8+ on a d12 to deal damage to all demons, so it sends a flurry of arrows into the sky, and that can do some serious damage there, depending on what you have. So because Inferno has advantage over Earth, when you're dealing Ararocalypse to an Earth demon, you'll be adding 80 extra damage. And then for the ability, we have Life of the Party. When Rose's HP is at or below 50 HP, her team's power art roll criteria is reduced by 1, so it's a party-based bonus there. And into Rose's elemental art. Weapon slayers typically do not fare as well as magic slayers when it comes to using their elements, and in Rose's case, she's one of the worst elemental users in the game. From a design perspective, there's 2 reasons for this. One being that characters have to be balanced. I mean, apart from the Guardians, which we'll go into later, you don't want to make your characters too overpowered. You have to have pluses and minuses for them. And secondly, as well, there's some demon arts that force the weapon slayers to use their elemental art, so there's a chance that the slayers could do damage to themselves, whilst mitigating the amount of damage you can do to the demons. That being said, her earth damage is pretty good, with 80 there as well. And then for Rose's Slayer item, they have Burrowing Arrows. What this does is it adds 5 times Burrowing Arrows to your inventory. When selecting these Burrowing Arrows, you'll do 50 damage to your target, and then a further 50 damage in the next round, so it's a damage over time item. So now we're on to Dio.
Dio is a famous bard of the Golden City. In his heyday, he would perform weekly for nobility at the palace's huge theatre. Since the fall of darkness, the doors of the palace are often closed, as the need for entertaining is no longer a priority for the king. Dio, now in his mid-50s, has entertained those from royalty to common folk, and is now no stranger to combat. In recent years, he has taken his songs to the battle camps, keeping the morale of the king's troops afloat. During his downtime, Dio started to travel. A few years ago, he met Erathorn and his caravan at a camp on the outskirts of what was once Havenwatch Forest. It was here that Dio learned of traditional Alrin vocal calls to awaken the spirits of the forest. From there, he started to learn more about the art, and within a few weeks he was able to affect small life forms with his song. In the months that followed, Dio would learn how to inflict pain on his enemies with just use of his voice. He now offers his services to fight for his king, and to repay the debt of gratitude to Erathorn, who has set him on this path.
So Dio is classified as a weapon slayer, and he is Sand's element. As you heard there from his intro, he is a bard. The first thing I wanted to highlight on his card is in the top left hand corner you have the slayer's HP. You'll notice from Rose and Helgoth that they have 500 HP, and you'll see it from the next character as well. However, Dio has 650 as his max HP. This is because, well, Dio's actually a bit of an all-rounder. He's a tank, he's a healer, and he deals damage as well, so he's a great all-rounder character. So start off with his battle art, we have Lyrics of the Damned, which will deal 35 damage to one demon. However, if you roll evens on a d6 to go along with that, you'll do 35 damage to all demons. Next up we have his buff art, which is Wall of Sound, which reduces all demon attacks in the next round by 30 damage, and also all slayers recover 50 HP. The one downside for this for Dio is that he has to miss the next round when he does it. And then next up we have his power art, and actually this is the third one in a row with an 8+ as the roll criteria. It will deal 75 damage to one demon, and this demon will need to roll a 5+ on a d12 in the next 2 rounds in order to move, otherwise he'll be shackled and unable to participate. And then for Dio's ability, he has Primal Scream. What this means is that if Dio's team win the aggressor roll, you will add 50 damage to Dio's first attack. To give an example, this means Lyrics of the Damned will do 85 damage instead of 35 in that initial round. Again, being a weapon slayer, his elemental arts are not the same as say Helgoth and what you'll see next with Lydia, who are both magic slayers. However, he will still get 80 damage with Shadow, which increases Blood Hymn to 155 damage when dealt against a Shadow Demon. And then for Dio's Slayer item, we have a Sound Check, which adds an additional 15 damage to Lyrics of the Damned. And lastly, we have Lydia.
Magic takes many forms across Eragoth. Some beings are able to conjure forces out of thin air, whereas most require a form of conduit. Lydia's conduit is one born of vengeance. Dragged behind her in chains is the reanimated corpse of a cultist priest of the infernal flame. One night, when Lydia was young, her town was attacked by cultists. The entire town were either burnt where they slept or taken hostage for later sacrifice. Lydia, who was around 8 at the time, was able to escape into the surrounding overgrowth and was eventually taken in by travellers. She vowed that day that she would learn the skills to take revenge on the cult. When she was old enough to leave her adopted family, Lydia would spend time with beings from all over Eragoth. In her travels, she learned how to conjure and command the elements. She also spent a great deal of time in darkness, learning possession spells and curses. Lydia would hunt the priests that burned her childhood town to the ground, slaughtering them all. Cultist Crimsonus was identified as the one who led the attack on that day. She thought that Crimsonus would have no eternal rest by reanimating his corpse to be her vessel. By combining her powers with that of Crimsonus, Lydia has been able to learn much of the magic of the infernal flame. Over time, Lydia has become adept in necromancy and has defeated 3 further cultist leaders. She has learned how to store their vessels in a pocket dimension, summoning them almost at will. After joining the Slayers, she is on her true quest to destroy the Shepherd of Fire and the infernal flame for good.
Lydia is classified as a magic slayer of Gloom Element. What makes Lydia different to the other slayers we've seen so far is that they're focused around elemental art, so I'll start with that this time. As you can see, we've got 100, 75, 40, 35, 20 is a lot of good numbers there, with one negative as you would do with all slayers of -50 there for Shadow. Purification, which is their battle art, if you roll 2+ on a d6, you'll be adding +1 to any demon's minimum roll criteria. So if a demon has 5+ as their roll criteria, it will go up to 6+. However, this doesn't affect arts which have a ranged roll criteria. What this means is that if the demon art is 1 to 2, you do X, 3 to 4, you do Y, 5 to 6, you do this. You can't change that because it's ranged. What it will mean is only if it's 5+, 6+, 7+, for example. Their status art is called Shadow Cloak. Roll 4+ on a d6 to evade all demon attacks for the next 2 rounds. This doesn't affect area of effect arts. These are arts which deal damage to a whole team at the same time. And then we have Devil Maker. Roll 6+ on a d12 to switch to a Cultist Conjuration. You'll then be moving as a Conjuration in the current round and in the next round before you revert back to Lydia. All 3 of Lydia's Cultist Conjurations have to be used before you can revert back to one that you previously used. And then we have their ability called My Dying Breath. Upon Lydia's defeat, immediately roll their elemental dice to execute one final elemental art. Okay, let's take a look at Lydia's Conjurations. All 3 Conjurations have the art Divinity, which will do 75 damage to one demon. Next up, for Cultist Vulturus, we have Incarnate. Roll 6+ on a d12 to deal 250 damage against one demon, 350 if they're Sans element. We have Cultist Imperialist, which has Bubonic Blessing. Roll 6+ on a d12 to restore all slayers who are below 250 HP to 250 HP. And if a Cultist Dragoness, we have Radiant Shield. Roll 6+ on a d12 to reduce all demon attacks to a maximum of 50 in the next round. This does not affect any damage over time arts that are already in effect. And they also have the art Spirit Summon, which is not available in this playthrough as this art was added after this prototype was made. Then for Lydia's Slayer item, she has Cloak of the Towering Demon. This adds an extra turn to Devil Maker, so you'll be able to keep your conjurations for 3 turns instead of 2. Okay, so onto my team now. First up, we have Yannick.
Having spent most of their life at the temples of Kronos Mountain, Yannick has trained for many years in the art of healing. During this time, Yannick has become one of the most skilled and revered healers in all of Gianthia. Although wise in the ways of Gianthia, they have never set foot outside of the region. Upon hearing that the fellowship set to dethrone the skeleton witch was comprised of the many races of Eragoth, Yannick sought approval from her town's chieftain to join the fight and represent the Earthborn. Yannick has been sent to the Golden City to meet with King Edward II and his commander Ava to offer their skills. Healing arts are often summoned and executed by using one's hands. However, Yannick was born without their right hand. In order to keep their left hand free to heal, they have had a special blade fitted to their right forearm by a large leather strap. This modified blade calls back to the ancient war blades of Gianthia.
Yannick is a magic slayer of Frost Element and acts as a healer. Their Battle Art Warblade deals 40 damage to one demon. Their Buff Art Spirit Rising recovers 50 HP for either Yannick or any other slayer. You also roll your d6. If Yannick rolls a 1, they'll miss the next round. If they roll a 6, an additional 25 HP can be healed to another slayer. And then for their Power Art, they have Cronus Rising. Roll 8 plus d12 to heal one slayer by 150 HP. Yannick's ability Permafrost turns them into a bit of a tank. When Yannick's HP is at or below 100 HP, damage dealt to Yannick is reduced by 50%. Yannick's Slayer item is Black Metal Warblade, and this adds an additional 15 damage to Warblade, bringing it to 55 damage. Next up we have Nekfia,
a defector of the Blackened Kingdom. Nekfia was created as a vanity project by Balmorg, fusing the soul of a captured dying angel of the Radiant City with the essence of an evil witch of the Blackened Kingdom. For years she was kept as a prisoner of Balmorg before becoming one of his key conjurers. Decades would merge into one never-ending day until her angelic soul that had been dormant for so long was reawakened. For years after, Nekfia struggled with the split personalities that resided within. Whilst she still undertook the plans of Balmorg, she sought a way to escape. Once she was able to pass through the Demogate undetected, she broke into the mortal realm. There she sought help from the Aetheon priests to rid herself of the witch's essence, but none would help. Over time, she has gained the aid of witch doctors and sages of Eragoth to repress the darkness. As her angelic soul returns, Nekfia is horrified by what she has done under the spells of Balmorg, and now seeks for absolution by aiding in the downfall of first the skeleton witch, and then Balmorg.
Nekfia is a magic slayer of Shadow Element. Again, same as Lydia, they're more focused around their elemental arts. We've been able to do 100 damage with Gloom Element. Their battle art is Black Fire, which deals 30 damage to one demon. Celestial Death shares some of Nekfia's current HP with her fellow slayers. Take 100 HP from Nekfia and give 50 to one slayer and 50 to another. You'll also be increasing all slayers' rage bars by 2. And then onto their power art we have Kiss of Doom. Roll 9 plus on a d12 to do 240 damage. 340 if it's against a Gloom Element. What will happen is that 120 damage will be done immediately, and then another 120 damage in the next round, making it a damage over time art. And then we have her ability called Beautiful Death. When Nekfia's HP is at or below 250 HP, demon arts targeted at her will have +1 added to their roll criteria. However, this doesn't affect arts which have a range roll criteria, or arts which are area of effect which deal damage to all slayers at the same time. Their Slayer item is called Elixir of the Night, which permanently reduces the roll criteria of Kiss of Doom from 9 to 8. Next up we have Ada.
Ada has a strong connection to her Valriath roots, dedicating her life to maintaining the practices and rituals of her ancestors. Despite specialising in the use of circular blades, she has also developed a keen knowledge of the elements. Although she has spent much of her life travelling along the coasts, Ada has never left the shores of Eragoth. She often contemplates that one day she might see what lays beyond the Eversea. During her travels across Eragoth, she came across a fracture in reality, a portal that led to another realm. Always of a curious nature, Ada ventured beyond to discover not only the realm of the witch, but then to Nightfall itself. Created by the Carrion Witch, the realm of the witch exists purely by her magic. The realm can become unstable with entrances and exits appearing and disappearing in a matter of moments. Whilst in Nightfall, Ada blended in with the Reaper's Coven. It was here that she learned the power of curse breaking.
Ada is classified as a weapon slayer of Shadow Element. Their battle art Thrash will deal 50 damage to one demon. You'll also be rolling your elemental dice. If you roll the element of your target, you'll be increasing that damage from 50 to 65. For their buff art Mirror's Edge, you'll be selecting one demon. For the rest of the encounter, when attacking this demon with the art Thrash, you'll also be rolling your elemental dice. the value of the element that you've rolled will be added to the damage of Thrash. So let's take Gloom for example. You're doing 50 plus 80. If it's Inferno, you're doing 50 plus 30. So you can do some quite nice damage there. And then for their power up, we have another 8 plus actually. What will happen is you do 100 damage to one demon, or 180 if they're a Gloom demon. This demon will also be unable to move in the next round, and more importantly, any curses on Adda's team are broken. This can be absolutely essential. And then for their ability, we have Unbreakable. Adda cannot be defeated at the first attempt, and their HP will stop at 10. So what this means, say they've got 30 HP left and 100 damage is dealt to them, they will stop at 10 on that first attempt. However, next time around, if they're still at 10 and another 100 damage has been done, then they'll be defeated. Their Slayer item is an enchantment called Underworld Chorus. This adds an additional 30 damage to Verse of the Underworld. And in rounding out my team, we have Winter.
Since the coming of their teenage years, Winter has never been far from trouble, often acting as a thief for bandits and mercenaries. Along with their supreme agility, Winter's ability to break locks with their icy grip has made them a valuable asset for many heists. Winter's gang used a recent demon invasion on the Golden City as cover for attempting to steal jewels from the Golden Palace. Winter's party were surrounded. Those who drew weapons were defeated by Ava and the King's Guard. Winter, who hid at the time, was eventually captured and put on trial. Ava believed that she may need one who has such a skill set as Winter on her quest, and has therefore pardoned their crime on the basis that they join the King's fight against the Skeleton Witch.
Winter is classified as a weapon slayer of Frost Element. So for the battle arc Winter's Fury, you'll be dealing damage twice to one demon. You'll roll your d6 twice, and if it's a 1, you'll be getting no damage. 2 to 4, you'll get 30 damage, and 5 to 6, you'll get 40 damage. That's a maximum of 80 damage across those two rolls. For their buff up, we have Destiny Unbound. If any curses are active, both Winter and the Curse Giver will roll a d12. If Winter's roll is higher, the curse is broken. If the demon's roll is higher, Winter takes 30 damage. And then for their power up, we have another 8 plus. I mean, there are 16 Slayers, so there's going to be a bit of overlap when it comes to numbers. But for 8 plus on a d12, you'll do 100 damage, 200 if it's an Inferno demon, and you'll also be adding 1 demon coin to your team's total. So the cool thing about Winter is that you'll be getting extra demon coins every time you achieve that. And then for the ability, they have Night Vision. When combat takes place in a subterranean landmark or on a cave path, add 20 damage to Winter's total each round. Now we won't see any subterranean landmarks today, but we will see some combat in the caves. And if all the elemental art, keeping in line with the rest of the weapon slayers, there's not that great a damage here. However, 100 damage on Inferno, so that'd be key if you can get that. And also, as I say, it increases Winter Form from 100 damage to 200 as Frost has advantage over Inferno. And then for the Slayer item, they have Demon Magnet, which changes the number of demon coins earned by Winter Form from 1 to 2. And just a couple of quick comments now on the teams as a whole before we get into the action. I think Mark's got a great team here with lots of coverage. If you're looking at Eragoth, you're going to have better chance of getting your Guardian there, and also Edge of Darkness has got some nice base damage, good elemental arts there as well. Same with Lydia, great elemental stats. Purification can be increasing roll criteria, making it a bit more difficult for me to be able to achieve some of the moves as the demons. Devil Maker as well is such a cool move, being able to bring in those conjurations, which can do loads of damage there. Dio is one of the best characters in the game. He's got great coverage across the board from damage, healing, and also offering defense options as well. And then with Rose, you're going to have Eragoth doing damage to all demons as well. So I think a great team they've got there. And in terms of my team, I can give you a quick insight to what I was thinking at the time when I was picking these characters. Yannick is a great healer, and also, as I say, when their HP gets low, they come into a bit more of like a tank healer. So great character there. Then for Nekfi, you've got the elemental art covered. Kiss of Doom does loads of damage as well. When it came to picking Adda and Winter, they may not do as much damage as some of the other weapon slayers such as Ava or Erathorn, but their support traits are what drew me to them for this playthrough to round off my team. So with Adda, we have the curse breaking option there with Verse of the Underworld. And then for Winter, we have the extra demon coins. And because I knew we was going to be going for a cave with the Wolven Kingdom, I'll be getting some extra damage there as well. Okay, now to the game.
Eragoth must die. A millennia ago, on the continent of Eragoth, stood a race of giants named the Behemoth. In servitude to the demon god Oblivion, these skilled sorcerers were to assist in his release from the Necro Gate. However, the final to Behemoth was shackled beyond the mirror of light. That spell, bound to roam the vast lands for eternity. However, the final to Behemoth was shackled beyond the mirror of light spell, bound to roam the vast lands for eternity. However, the final to Behemoth was shackled beyond the mirror of light spell, bound to roam the vast lands for eternity.
Central to the Wolven Kingdom is the insurmountable Wolf Mountain that dominates the region. To the north and south, there are the smaller yet still extremely hazardous mountains Stone Dawn and the range of Ash Mountain. The only way to traverse the region is via these perilous passes, or through the heart of Wolf Mountain via the Black Wolf Caverns. As in Stormfrost, bad fortune brings the faces in the clouds. The weather they generate makes for a perilous crossing. Geographically similar, rulers of Stormfrost and the Kingdom made many attempts to besiege the land of the other. During the Third Age, Stormfrost was most notably defended against the Wolven army by Girahelm the Sworn. The following battles were of even greater magnitude, most notably the Battle of Blood Blizzard, which ultimately culminated with the Behemoth stranglehold on the lands, forcing the two regions to find peace and a united front. In the Fifth Age, there are 3 rulers of the kingdom, Bagmath, Omun, and Agrem. All are sons of Kuloth the Red. Kuloth's recent passing has left the kingdom without a ruler. The Skeleton Witch has used the situation and the brothers' disdain for each other to his advantage. He has sent sages of the Blackened Kingdom to act as advisors, poisoning their minds with promises of the throne to whoever can stop the Slayers making their way across the kingdom.
Alright, so we're kicking off then with Wolven Kingdom, as Mark is using his Slayers first. He's going to take his event cards, and he's got a 6 there on his first roll, so he's going to be heading off along that northern path there with the best possible start, and he's chosen to use his action card first, which results in an Everlight Nebula. So without getting into what an Everlight Nebula is for the time being, he'll be adding a 1x100 damage item to his inventory. On his second overworld turn now, he's rolled a 2, and that's brought him into the landmark Stone Dawn Mountains. But before you can play a landmark, you have to play your event card. So he's got his encounter card left, and it's a brutal encounter. So I can spend up to 12 demon coins. I'm going to keep it quite breezy for this first go, and just spend 6. You start with 20 demon coins, and I think 6 is a pretty good number to spend on your first encounter. Get a flavour for maybe just get a sense of how the game's going to be going. So the demons I've summoned are Siren, which is a frost demon with 300 HP, with the Arc Calm voice, which could potentially stop weapon slayers from being able to attack for a couple of rounds. Lullaby, Siren will recover 100 HP, and Songs for the Dead, if I meet the dice criteria, I could do 50 damage to all slayers with a potential additional 15 damage on top with Sands. Swine Cultist is a Earth Demon with 105 HP with the Art's Absence, which can evade all Slayer attacks for a couple of rounds. Levitation, I can do damage potentially to 2 Slayers. And then finally, Warrior's Cry will reduce damage to Swine Cultist for 3 rounds. And lastly, Bloodbath, which is quite a good level 1 actually. You'll know it only has 100 HP. It's a Gloom Demon with the Art's Wings of Pain, doing 35 damage to 1 Slayer, recovering 40 HP with Wings of Life, and potentially doing 90 damage to 1 Slayer with Wings of Fire, but I will miss the next round if I hit that. So kicking off then, Helgoth is going to do 40 damage to Bloodbath, bringing him down to 60, and increasing the rage bar there for doing the Battler. And he's feeling lucky, he's going for Aerocalypse, which is the power art for Rose, and he's hit it. So 75 damage to all demons, but because Cultist is a Earth Demon, it's going to do 155 damage to them because of the elemental bonus there. So I've lost 2 demons right off the bat before I can even launch an attack. So a great first round there for Mark. So we'll talk a bit about the battle bar now before he moves on to the next move. So when you start the encounter, you're rolling for initiative. He won that roll, which is why he's attacking first, and it gives him 2 battle points, which is why his bar started. For defeating a demon, you get 5, so he's going to be adding 10 now for that, and for completing a power art, which he did with Aerocalypse, he's adding an extra 3. So he's fully maxed out his bar. Great position to be in already after 2 moves. A very good 2 moves with all those things considered there. Now he's gone for Dio, he's gone for Wall of Sound. I would have gone for attacking option because Dio's ability, Primal Scream, gives you extra damage in the first round, but there is method to his madness, which we'll see in a minute. And then for Lydia's move, he's going to use that battle bar straight off the bat now and use an elemental breakdown. So first of all, you're rolling an elemental dice to see what type of effect you'll be getting, and that was Earth, so they would have been recovering HP if they'd lost any. And then each Slayer rolls a d6. The value of that is times by 10, so he's rolled 8 across those 4 Slayers, so 80 damage dealt to Siren. If you have a Guardian in play, you'll be rolling a d12, which I'm sure we'll see later on. And then it's going to come over to Siren, so I'm thinking about what's going to be the best thing to do. I'm going to try and get some damage on the board, so I'm going to be going with Songs for the Dead, because I don't think I'm going to be around for too much longer. And I've hit it, So I would have been doing 50 damage to all Slayers. However, because he has Wall of Sound on at the moment, he's reduced my damage by 30. So that's a 20 to everybody, but damage is still damage in the first round, right? You know, this game is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's back over now to Eragoth. Eragoth is going to go for Edge of Darkness again now, I believe. And he hasn't hit the bonus there, so it's just another 40 damage, this time to Siren. He'll be increasing his Rage Bar as well for completing his battle art. And then for Rose, he's going to go for Hunter. Now, based on the bow we've got at the moment, it's going to be pretty low damage to start off with when you're controlling an archer, but still 20 damage. It's going to be chipping away, brings him down to 85. And then on Dio, we'll be missing this round because of Wall of Sound. And then we're going to be moving on to Lydia. So Lydia, the only real way you can do damage with Lydia's character is by using the elemental art. Her purpose really is to summon those cultists, which she has as her conjuration. So she's rolled Frost Element. That's be 35 damage to Siren, bringing them down to 50. I'm thinking now, I'm going to be gone next round for sure. So I might as well try and prolong this and use Lullaby and recover 100 HP, bringing me back up to 150. So let's see if we can get maybe another round, maybe 2 rounds, see how lucky we're going to be. But for a start, I know I'm going to be taking at least 40 damage here from Eragoth, unless they get the bonus, of course it'd be 70. So 40 damage there from Eragoth, Edge of Darkness, and once again increasing the Rage Bar. Moving on to Rose with Hunter again, doing a further 40 damage. My health is going back down pretty quick, I'm down to 70 again now. Dio's going to be chipping in with Lyrics of the Damned now as well, another 35. So I'm down to 35, so let's see how it's going to go. He's going to have to go for the elemental art. I can only hope that he rolls Shadow, which is the only bad option for Lydia, which he has done. So 50 damage will be dealt to Lydia. So me surviving an extra round there has put him in a position where he had to go for the elemental art. Well, he didn't have to, but that was a logical choice to go for. And it's actually backfired on him, bringing him down to 430. So I've got one more go. Let's go for Songs of the Dead, see if I can achieve it and get some final damage on him. So 50 damage. Yeah, I didn't get the bonus. There's 50 damage to all Slayers there, so very nice indeed. And let's see how he's going to be finishing off Siren here in this next round. But yeah, I'm very happy with how it's gone so far. So what are you going to do? Okay, he's gone for Judgment Day, trying to get some spirits. So I'm moving towards the Guardian phase already, and he's hit it off the bat, so very good. So with these characters, when I'm designing them, I'm thinking of giving them, what's the word I want? Like some sort of like gimmick with them. And when it comes to Eragoth, although they've got some cool moves that you can use with them, having their power up be 1, which makes it easier to get a Guardian, is a good incentive, because what you want to be doing ideally is to get your Guardian. So with their move, Judgment Day, they'll be rolling the Spirit Dice 3 times and also increasing every Slayer's Rage Bar by 1. And we'll see that a few times throughout this as he's trying to achieve Guardian at key points during combat. So with Rose, he's going to use Exile, which will reduce their power up roll criteria by 1 for the next round, but also recover 25 HP. And then he's gone with Wall of Sound again as it's back in action as the cooldown's over. Recover 50 HP for all Slayers there and reduce my attacks in the next round. But I'm not expecting to be around for the next round anyway, so I'm quite happy with how it's gone. Even with him recovering 50 HP there, we've still got some nice damage there on Lydia at least, and and on Dio as well, to be fair, not being at max HP. As being a tank, he's going to be the one I want to go for. Dio's a cool character because he's a tank, but he's also a healer, and he also does damage. It also stops you from moving. He's like an all-rounder, so it's always good to try and get some damage on him there. And let's see what it's going to be with Lydia, and it's a Gloom element, so it's 40 damage to Siren. That finishes them off. But, as I say, I'm pretty happy with how that's gone. Got some damage on the board, and now because it's an encounter from an encounter card, he'll be rolling for gold and demon coins. Now, as he's pointing out here, Eragoth's ability, Fortunes of War, actually adds additional demon coins to each roll, so it's a nice little bonus, and another reason to have that character as well, because you are reaping the benefits of getting additional demon coins. So now he's in Stone Dawn Mountain.
The only way to cross a seemingly endless drop is to use an old bridge made of the bones of an ancient mountain dragon. Step 1. Slayers cross the bridge one at a time in any order. Each Slayer rolls 1d6 to see how their crossing affects the bridge. This will be measured against the bridge's erosion tolerance. The bridge has a maximum erosion tolerance of 13. If the Slayer's combined rolls exceed this value, then the bridge will break. Step 2. If the bridge breaks, any of the Slayers that have already crossed can save their fellow Slayers by rolling 4+ on a d12. Each Slayer that has crossed can only attempt to save one other Slayer. If no saving roll is made or no Slayers cross, the falling Slayers will take 250 damage as they fall to the bottom of the mountain. Unless defeated, Slayers will then regroup at the bottom of the mountain.
You want really low rolls.
Really low rolls. 2.
Okay.
3. Yeah, you're right. 4.
God, sorry, Jeremy.
7, 8.
7, 8. Okay, that's it. So that concludes your turn. So you'll start from there on your next bit. So what we've got here is a time lapse of me deciding which route I want to go on. There's advantages and disadvantages to every route because of how they lead you on to the following map. As we're playing a 2-map game with just a final boss battle at the end, I'm trying to think of what's the most direct route. How can I get my 2 boss souls as easy as possible? And basically trying to avoid some hazards along the way. So I've gone with the central path, a bit of a cheat here because I'm the creator, I know where everything is. But to be fair, Mark has played this game, well, this map especially as well, many times, so he's aware as well. You can get 2 boss souls from the weather-worn burrow, and that's what I'm going to be heading to in the centre. So it's going to lead me into the cave, which will activate Winter's ability of adding additional damage to my moves. And on this standard encounter, he's just gone for the top 3 cards off the level 2 pile. And he's got Fire Eater starting off with an Inferno Demon, 250 HP, Fire Shield will reduce damage for 3 rounds by Weapon Slayers, Explosion takes 2 rounds to execute, the first round you'll be charging, the second round you'll be doing 100 damage to all Slayers. That's a really powerful move, but it does defeat the Fire Eater in the process. And Heresy, which will do damage to 1 Slayer, potentially some additional damage there, and also potential HP recovery. Harvester's a really interesting character, and you'll see I'm going to be attacking that character first of all because I really want to get rid of it. Is that it only has 1 art, which is Life Eater, but what will be happening is each time the dice is rolled with Harvester, whatever your dice roll is, so let's say I roll a 6, I'll be doing 60 damage to the target, but also recovering that 60 damage as HP as well. And they're one of the few characters that can exceed their starting HP, which is the HP stated on the card. And then Dragon Tamer, which has Archery level 2, which is a tier damage move, and Spear, which will do damage to 1 Slayer, but Dragon Tamer will miss the next round. So let's pick it up then with the next art, see where we are. So Ada's going to do Thrash, which will do 50 damage to Dragon Tamer. So what will be happening with Thrash is that Thrash will deal 50 damage to the target, but if you roll the element of the targeted demon, you'll also be adding an additional 15 damage. You've got a nice little bonus on that one as well. And then we're going to be moving on to Winter. So double 5s there on Winter's Fury, so I'll do 100 damage to Harvester. So with that, I'm going to be having 80 damage is done by the move, 20 damage is the additional damage I get for fighting in caves with Night Vision. So I'm very happy I got rid of Harvester. That's whenever I see that character, it's the first one I always go for because I know it can very quickly get out of hand with its HP recovery. So that's a tip for you guys when you're playing this game. Go for Harvester, go for Balgraf as well, which is a level 4 equivalent of it. They're really dangerous characters. Okay, so Dragon Tamer has gone with Archery level 2. So yeah, that's 90 damage there on Winter. Pretty strong move. Then he's got the best outcome. So I just skipped past it because I was talking about the other topic, but with Fire Eater, he's laid down Fire Shield. So for Ada and Winter, they'll now have damage reduction when they're going to be attacking any demon. So I've got to change my tactic a little bit here and think with Yannick and Nekfir, maybe get some damage off those two, try and see what we can do here, because I know with Ada and Winter, I'm going to be having reduced damage, being Weapon Slayers. So Yannick's going to go with Warblade, 40 damage on Dragon Tamer. It's bringing them down to 110 HP. And I think with Nekfir, you know, I want to try and start building up the Rage Bar anyway, which I can do for the Elemental Art, and I can do through the standard Battle Art. And I've chosen to go with the Battle Art here, 30 damage on Dragon Tamer. So I'm going to go with Mirror's Edge now on Ada. So what happens with this art is that I select one demon, and for the rest of the encounter, when I attack them with the Arch Thrash, I will also roll the elemental dice as normal. However, the value of this element from Ada's elemental art is added to Thrash damage. Just take an example. If I would do 50 damage normally, but if I was to roll Shadow, for example, I would then be adding an additional 40 damage on it, so let's see how it goes. And then going on to Winter now. So Winter has hit... Oh! With the damage half there, I've only done 30... Well, I've got 35 left there on Dragon Tamer. But, you know, still good. Still be chipping that damage away there. Okay, and Fire Eater, thankfully, has failed with Explosia. So, kind of buy ourselves some time here. I think I'm going to be okay now. Let's try and get rid of Dragon Tamer first. Oof. So he's hit me with another 45 damage on Winter. Winter's already down to 365. It's not ideal start there. So rolling the Spirit Dice there. I'm going to assume that you may have watched the how-to video so far, so I won't get too caught in the mechanics, but just to touch here on the Spirit Dice and why we're doing it. So before you're attacking each round, you're going to be rolling your Spirit Dice. So what we're trying to do is unlock the Guardian. As you can see there's a selection of tokens, and then there's symbols at the top of the cards hidden behind the Slayer. So once we get them unlocked, you'll see them a couple of times in this playthrough. We'll be doing huge amounts of damage with the Guardians. So I would have been doing 80 damage there with Thrash, but because of the damage down, it's just going to do 40 damage to Fire Eater. Still down to 180. Let's hope we can get rid of it before it tries Explosia again. I went for the battle art, sorry, I went with the power art there for Winter with Winterthorn, and I found the roll criteria. And now he's on to Explosia, and he's got the criteria, so he's going to do 100 damage to all Slayers in the next round. So I really got to get rid of it in the next round. So this is not looking great so far. So I'm going to go with Yannick. I'm going to mix it up now, go with the Elemental Art. So he's trying to get 180 damage. I need to go for the most amount of damage I can with that damage down still on Adder and Winter. So I'm going to kick off now with going for the Elemental Art. And it's Sands, so good start there. 50 damage there with the Sands element. And then removing up the Rage Bar as well. For Nekfia, I'm going to go as well with the Elemental, and I've got Shadow Element this time, so 60 damage there, so feeling quite good. There's 70 left. Even with the half damage, I'm feeling like we could do this, so let's check out. So 70 damage here from my last two Slayers, otherwise I'm taking 100 damage. So we're going to go for Thrash. It's got the Shadow on it as well, so this would have done 90 damage, but with the 50% off, it's going to do 45, bringing him down to 25. And then down here for Winter. Let's see what we can get now. I'm going for Winter's Fury. So 30 damage. Plus another 30, plus the 20 from the cave bonus. So it'll give me 80, halved, 40, just enough to be able to defeat Fire Eater. So I just got about away with it there, otherwise I would have been in a far less advantageous position. So it's down. I'm going to be rolling for golden demon coins now. And adding them to my total. So on my second turn we'll be entering Dark Scar River, but before that we're going into a chest. So at level 5 I need a 3+ and a 4+. It's a 3? It's a 5, so I've unlocked the chest. So for unlocking that chest, let's see what we're going to get.
Roll for gold. So 4 gold, 30 gold. 1 elixir recovery, so that's 150 HP. 1 curse breaker brew. 1 demon coins roll, oh my god. What's a good chest? 3, 21, and then 1 bow roll. Nice. Okay, so let's play Dark Scar River.
Slayers will venture through a network of underwater tunnels to reach the weather-worn burrows. The river that runs within gets its name from the part collapse of Wolf Mountain. The Slayers, weighed down by their equipment, are at risk of drowning and of attack from the wolf sharks that dwell within these underwater caverns. The wolf shark, although completely blind, can sense the movement of prey in the water. Each Slayer adds a modifier to their upcoming rolls. This is based on the Slayer's current HP. If HP is X, add Y to the upcoming roll. If HP is 5 to 200, add 4. If HP is 205 to 300, add 3. And if HP is over 305, add 2. Depending on the Slayer's weapon classification, minus a value to the modifier from setup 1. For Magic Slayers, -1, and for Weapon Slayers, -2. Step 1. The Demon Captain rolls 1d12 to set a safety criteria for the Slayers. Step 2. Each Slayer rolls their d12 and applies their modifier. If the criteria is met or exceeded, Slayers arrive at their destination and continue. If the criteria is not met, Slayers will need to outpace the Wolf Sharks in Step 3. Step 3. The affected Slayers roll their d12 and apply their modifier. Step 4. The Demon Captain rolls their d12 for the group of Wolf Sharks. If the Wolf Sharks match or exceed the Slayer's roll, then they have caught the Slayer. For each captured Slayer, the Demon Captain rolls 1d12. This value multiplied by 10 equals the damage dealt to that Slayer. Providing the Slayer does not perish in the attack, they will then reach their destination and continue.
Okay, step 1, the Demon Captain rolls 1 times d12. This is to set the safety criteria for the Slayers. Hit me a d12.
9.
Oof.
A 9.
Okay. Each Slayer will then roll their d12 and apply their modifier. If criteria is met or exceeded, Slayers arrive at the destination and continue. So let's see if I can do that first of all.
So you've got to get an 8 on those?
8 on these, has to be a 9 on these. Alright? So big rolls. It's a 1.
Drowning.
It's a 2.
Drowning.
It's a 12.
Hey.
That is okay. That's a 12 again. Oh, if criteria is not met, the Slayers will need to outswim the Wolf Sharks in Step 3. Step 3, the affected Slayers roll their d12 and apply their modifier. So let's do that. So I can add +1 to these. So Yannick, it's a 9, so 10.
Mm-hmm.
And a 9, so 10 and 9 for
Nice.
these ones, okay?
Yeah.
Step 4, the Demon Captain, acts as a Wolf Shark, then roll their d12. If you match or exceed it, you've caught me, basically.
Okay.
So
2.
you're doing cash as well?
10.
So you call, you called it. For each
That should be the animation.
So for each captured Slayer, the Demon Captain rolls d12. This is going to be the damage. So providing the Slayer does not perish in the attack, they will then reach the destination and continue. So you need to roll for damage reduced next for you now. So 3, so 30 damage. So I got away with it. You just nipped me. Down to 470, and that's it. So I am going to be here when my turn starts.
Okay, so moving back over to Mark's team now. He's got his event cards and he's rolling for navigation. He's got a 2, so still moving along that northern path to go to Bagmath's castle. And he's got a chest out on his action cards. So when it comes to chests, what you'll be doing first of all is rolling a d6 to see what level of chest it's going to be. He's got a 4 for this one, so level 4. And then you have the unlocking criteria, which he's failed on this occasion. Onto his second go now. It's a brutal encounter, and I feel like I went a little bit easy with him on the first brutal encounter, so let's up the difficulty now with having 3 level 3s. Start off with Night Sword, who's a shadow demon with 260 HP, with the art's Night Dagger, which deals damage to 1 Slayer. If I can roll Shadow Element, I'll also get an additional 15 damage to make up to 65. Balance the Scales will deal damage to 1 Slayer, however, if Night Sword is below 50% HP, it will deal damage to all Slayers, so that's one to look out for later on. Grimold is a really interesting demon. It's an Earth Demon with 280 HP, but the Arc Toxic Creation, based on your D12 roll, so say let's roll an ace on a D12, that will deal 80 damage to the target and Grimold will recover 40 HP. If you roll 10, it will do 100 damage and recover 50 HP. So that's a really cool move there. And the difference between that and Harvester is that it will not exceed its HP stated on the card. It's not a HP plus art, so it will cap out at 280. Acid Breath will deal 35 damage to 1 Slayer, potentially up to 70 if you get the roll criteria, and Spirit Eater will reset the progress of 1 Slayer's Spirit Box, which is a really harsh move, and I'll definitely be using that during this encounter. And finally, Morpheus Omen, Sands Demon, 275 HP, one of the trinity of Morphea characters. Apparition, so if you roll evens on a d6, all damage dealt to Morpheus Omen is reduced by 50% for the next 2 rounds. Poltergeist will deal damage to 2 Slayers, and then Witchery, which is a curse-based move, will force all Slayers to only roll their elemental dice for the next 4 rounds. And the cool thing about that is that it can force the Slayers to end up doing damage to themselves. So I will definitely be using that at some point. Let's keep an eye on it. But for the time being, I feel like 275 HP, they're not going to be able to defeat me in point, at least in this first round, maybe a couple of rounds. So let's go with Poltergeist first of all, deal some damage to Dio and to Lydia. So Edge of Darkness there from Helgoth, he's got the bonus damage there as well, so 70 damage dealt to Morpheus Omen. He's going to be trying to get rid of Morphia for sure, so I imagine all the damage is going to be going on this. And to the end now, he's going to go for Aerocalypse and try and get some big damage on the board, especially with Grimold there, with the damage we saw in the first Brutal Encounter bumping up to 155, but he failed the roll, so very good for me. And then he's going to Dio now and activate Wall of Sound. Wall of Sound as Dio cannot attack anyway. And then on to Lydia, he went for Devil Maker to try and summon one of the conjurations there, and he's fouled it. So this was going to be a real key moment, I feel. So Barrington Night Sword. Night Sword's gone for Night Dagger, 20 damage because of the damage reduction from Wall of Sound on Lydia. Just a 20 there, bring him down to 355. Grimold's Toxic Curation. Oh, it would have been 120 damage there because I got the 12 on the D12 there. So it's 90 damage to Dio. And then now we're going to unleash Witchery on to the other Slayers. So they can still use items. They've got the Everlight Nebula, so let's see if they end up using that. However, they can only use their elemental art. So let's see how that's going to end up for them. So first of all, Helgoth rolls the elemental. 25 damage has been dealt to Helgoth with Inferno because it's a bad reaction there. On to Rose. And another bad one as well. This is 65 damage dealt to Rose. This is the worst possible outcome for Rose. Best possible outcome for me at the moment. Moving on to Dio. Oh, Dio can't move because of Wall of Sound, so we're going to go into Lydia. So Lydia should be okay. 35 damage to Morpheus Omen there. We'll bring down their HP further. So back round to Night Dagger now. Wall of Sound is off. So let's go with Night Dagger, 50 damage onto Lydia, so I don't have the bonus damage there of Shadow Element. So Grimold's going to use Spirit Eater now. What this will be doing is, for Helgoth, is removing all of the spirits that they've acquired so far. Now it's a single use art, because otherwise that would be crazily overpowered. I feel like that was the right time to use it, because we're getting pretty close to getting towards their Guardian, and then once they've got that, this battle will start to look pretty different. Okay, so back to Helgoth. Now they've hit the best case scenario for themselves with their elemental roll. They've got 85 damage there to Morpheus Omen. And then followed up with another 80 from Rose. He's got the 2 best scenarios there, one after the other. Brings Morphia down to just 5 HP now. And then we're going to go into Dio now. And Dio's rolled a Sands as well, so that's another 40 damage to Morpheus Omen is gone. Now, Witchery doesn't cancel just because Morphia has been defeated. This art will continue going on for the full 4 rounds. Now, there are some arts which are curses or overtime which will be ended if the character is defeated. However, that will be stated on the character's card. Now, back on to Lydia, who's the... Well, there's me saying that Lydia is the best magic character in the game. And then she's been hit again with the 1 in 6 chance of receiving damage to themselves. So that's a shadow negative 50. So Lydia's down to 215 already. So this is looking pretty, getting a little dicey now on being under half HP. So Night Dagger is going to hit with a follow-up with Night Dagger for 50, bring down to 165. And then Grimold's gone for the 110 with Toxic Creation. So that's 110 damage dealt, and it would have been 55 HP recover there. So yeah, this sounds really dicey because Lydia's getting down to 55 HP now. After this battle, because you play your event card before you play the landmark, they'll be going into the boss battle at Bagmath's Castle next. So I'm thinking we're not going to see Lydia around for too much longer unless they can find a way to heal them back up. Now, they haven't been to any colonies yet to acquire any items, so they're going to be relying on Dio's team healing abilities to bring them back. Now, with Lydia, although they're down to 5 HP now, so actually I might come back to this in a minute, see how Lydia gets on now. Oh, and Lydia's gone, so that's it. Acid Breath from Grimold takes Lydia out. Now, what I was going to talk about with Lydia what makes him such a cool character is that they've got 3 extra cards that we didn't get to see in at all actually so far, or at all in this playthrough. We won't see them now because they're defeated. Is that they have 3 conjurations that they can summon. So with the Power Art Devil Maker, what they'll be doing is switching in one of these conjurations. Now, these 3 conjurations are based on different RPG style classes. So one of them's a healer type, one of them's an attacker type, and one of them's a shield tank based type. So we didn't get to see any of them, which is a shame. I say it's a shame. For me at the time, I was thinking that's great because I've defeated one of the Slayers straight off the bat before they've left the first map. So I'm very happy about that. Now let's pick back into the action now to see where we are. And then Grimald's hit 120 with Toxic Creation now on Dio. That brings him down to 300 HP. Grimald's still at 100% HP. Okay, so we're out of Witchery now, and then we start seeing some damage there. So that was Edge of Darkness followed by Hunter from Rose. The Night Sword is now gone as well. Wall of Sound's been put up now. This will recover 50 HP and reduce the effects of Grimald's attacks next round. I'm going to probably keep going. Let's see what happens here. I've got Acid Breath because it's going to be a guaranteed high amount of damage. I've been very lucky with the rolls there on Toxic Creation so far. Helgoth hits with Edge of Darkness on another 14. Rage Bar's moving up, and then he's going to go for Eragoth, and he hits 155. He has the bonus damage as Grimald is a Earth Demon, down to 85. Now Dio misses this round. I'm going to go for one last roll. Toxic Creation, another 80, and I've got 40 back there as well. So very nice. Dio is down to 230 as well, so it's starting to look pretty hairy. Now, with losing Slayers, there is an opportunity to gain extra Slayers once you get to a colony. We can spend demon coins to hire them from the guild. However, he's got to make sure he gets there, because I say he's got to go for a boss battle still as well. And he's hit another Aerocalypse there, 155 with a roll of 9 there, and that is Grimald gone. So that was certainly a brutal encounter there. We took out Lydia. We've heavily reduced Dio's HP as well. So yeah, we're looking in a really good spot right now, going into the Bagmath battle.
The castle's drawbridge wears Bagmath's coat of arms, a circular blue shield with a vertical axe. Cascading blue drapes, each adorned with an arm holding an axe, cling to the front of the castle in the breeze. At the castle's base is a moat, its water vivid crimson with his enemy's blood.
Okay, so Bagmath the Violator, one of the 3 sons of Cool Off the Red. It's 825 HP, Inferno Demon, and let's check out the arts. The Ancient Axe will deal 50 damage to 1 Slayer, no roll criteria needed. Spirits of the Mountain will recover anything between 10 to 120 HP depending on the D12 dice roll. And then the main move, the Violator, if you roll 9+ on a D12, it will deal 200 damage to 1 Slayer. However, if you also roll Element of Inferno or the element of the targeted Slayer, you can immediately try the art again. So it's essentially a Slayer Strike. It's one of the very few occasions this happens for a demon. So let's pick it out. Bagmath has won the aggressor roll. And you know what, the luck's been in on the last battle with Toxic Creation hitting so hard. Let's go for Violate off the bat. I've got 825 HP, it's worth a go, isn't it, at the moment? And it's fouled straight away. I see Dio's in the sights. So I think we might see me roll in the odds a few times in this battle to just try and get rid of Dio. So he's going to use the Rage Bar now with Helgoth and go for Judgment Day, which he hits. So we roll in Spirit Dice now 3 times and increasing everyone's rage by 1. So it looks like he's needed at least one of those spirits there. And then he's increasing the rage and his 3 remaining Slayers. Over to Rose now. Rose is going to go with Hunter. That's going to be 20 damage. At least it's some chip damage there, so down to 805. And then, what's he going to do with Dio? Is he going to go for the healing option? So go for Wall of Sound, surely. No, he goes for Blood Him. So that's Dio's power art, and that is missed. So the benefit of hitting Blood Him is that you will stop the Slayer from, or potentially stop the demon from attacking. So that's fouled. And then straight back at him. Bagmath hits with Violator. 200 damage to Dio, down to 30. That's a really risky move going for Wall of Sound. Not going for Wall of Sound there. So it's looking very dicey now. So he's got a full battle bar carrying it over from the last battle now. And he's rolled Gloom. So what happens when you roll Gloom Elemental Breakdowns? You'll then be rolling your d6, and by that value you'll be reducing the boss demon's battle bar. So battle bars are only available for boss demons, not for the regular demons, so it's the first time we're seeing it so far. And he's rolled a 5, so that's brought Bagmath's battle bar down to 0. So we're 4 up to 90. 130 damage there as well for the Gloom Breakdown with the team attack, so that's pretty nice. That's taking a significant amount of Bagmath's HP down. So we're going to move on now to... Okay, so we've got 40 now off Hunter. And then now he's going to hit Wall of Sound from the brink of death. There he's brought Dio back up to 80, but misses the next round. I can't see Dio being around for too much longer. It's only a matter of time now. So we're going to hit Ancient Axe. Ancient Axe should do 50 damage to Dio. However, because of Wall of Sound being up, it's just going to do 20 on this round. So I'm feeling pretty confident now that Dio's going to be gone by the next round, unless something miraculous happens. Let's see. So Helgoth's fouled there on Judgment Day. He's really going to try and bring that Guardian in now to try and balance the odds a little bit. He's got with 20 there, just with Hunter there. So he's rolling really low actually. It's quite a few times we've seen that so far with Rose's Hunter move. So let's say goodbye to Dio now. I'm sure with Ancient Axe, 50 damage guaranteed, and that is the end of Dio. So that's 2 Slayers down in his first boss battle, pretty much. Well, before he gets through his first boss battle. So I'm in a very good position now. And I remember from playing through this game, I was feeling pretty confident at this point as well that it was in the bag. So over to Helgoth. He just needs... He's so close to getting Guardian now. And considering that I'd reset his bar in the last battle as well, that's quite amazing that he's come back so quickly to be on the verge of acquiring his Guardian. So he's using his Rage now. He's gone for Eragoth. Hits for 100 damage against Bagmath now, bringing him down to 515. So the HP's still looking pretty good for Bagmath, and weighing up what I can do here. I don't think I want to heal yet. I think let's just go for another one of Violator as well, because you know it's a pretty high dice roll requirement for this one. But if you hit it, 200 damage, that's going to really start to affect his campaign in a major way. It's failed that time. Back over to Helgoth, who's going to go with Edge of Darkness. Hits 40 damage back on Bagmath. Bagmath's there on 475 now. But Rose has gone for Eragoth, and that's fouled. And it's back round to Bagmath. So this may keep it a bit easier now. Let's go Ancient Axe, guaranteed 50 damage. Just start chipping away with Helgoth now. Helgoth's down to 450. I think it's a race against time now for him to get his Guardian, because once he gets that, he's going to be able to do some serious amounts of damage there. Bagmath hits back with he's hit with another 40 damage there from Helgoth. Rose there with another 20 with Hunter. It's down to 415 now. Let's keep it easy again. Ancient Axe and that further 50 to Helgoth. Now if I can try and balance staying alive, I think we've got a good chance of being able to defeat Helgoth. And now with Rose, he's gone for Eragoth, which is quite unlike him to be leaning on the power art so much. I played against Mark countless times. It's not really his playstyle, but desperate times, desperate measures, he's really trying to go for the big numbers here. Okay, it's back round to Helgoth, and he's going to go... What's he going to do? Okay, he's using his rages going for Judgment Day. He's really trying to bring in that Guardian. He just needs one more spirit to be able to get it, which is quite, amazing. Again, seeing that he was had no spirits not that long ago. So one more. Oh. By increasing the rage by 1 for himself and for Rose as well. But on the next turn, I've been focusing so much on Helgoth that Rose was actually 1 away as well from achieving Guardian. So we're in, we've got Orion, so let's take a look at Orion. Orion's arts are Celestial Rain, which has 80 damage to 1 demon, no dice roll criteria. 50 HP recovered with Guardian Grace, and Polar Explosion will do 320 damage to one demon. Their ability is Overpower, which every time Polar Explosion is successfully executed, you'll be decreasing the roll criteria by 1. So, serious Guardian card we've got there. He went straight in for it as well with Polar Explosion and Fouled. I would have maybe gone with Celestial Rain, get some points on the board, because Bagmaf's HP is not that great at the moment. But let's see. So, background to Ancient Axe, another 50 on Helgoth. So we've got another 40 now from Helgoth. Oh, he's going Polar Explosion again. Okay. He must be panicking big time. Okay, because I've got a full bar now as well, so he's going to get 100 damage guaranteed on Helgoth in the next round. There's another 40 from Helgoth with Edge of Darkness. Oh no, he's hit 320 there with Polar Explosion on Bagmaf. Absolutely destroyed there right at the end, but that was getting very, very dicey for him there. I mean, if you think he lost Lydia in the battle before, he lost Dio there as well. So let's take a look at the rewards you get for defeating the boss. Whereas each non-boss battle rewards slayers with demon coins and gold, there are a different set of rewards for taking down a boss. Number 1. First up is a boss soul. Collecting these are the prerequisite for facing the final boss. The number of boss souls needed is equal to the number of maps being played, so in this case we have 2 maps, therefore both teams need 2 boss souls if we want to face the final boss. Number 2. Next up, Slayers receive 1 times Everlight Nebula, a shard of the Everlight Jewel which has been shattered and scattered across Eragoth. An Everlight Nebula deals 1 times 100 damage, add it to your inventory for later. Number 3. Next up, Slayers receive 1 times Slayer item. There is a signature item for each character which offers a permanent stat change. When collecting your rewards, select the top card from your Slayer item deck. Number 4. All Slayers receive 1 time Spirit Emblem. There are some permutations to this, so if you're entering or exiting Guardian state, or you currently have a Guardian. Number 5. Buff card. The reversible buff and debuff cards are in 6 mini decks. Each deck has a different effect. With each deck there are 3 cards, and each represent a different level of effect, from 1 to 3. For example, damage up level 1, damage up level 2, and damage up level 3. First of all, roll your d6 to see which deck you will draw from. If it's a 2 for example, you would pick from the second deck. Then roll your d6 again. If it's 1 to 2, you receive level 1, 3 to 4 level 2, and 5 to 6 equals level 3. Again, there are some permutations here if the card that you've rolled for has already been taken. Number 6. Slayers receive bow ore. This is used for upgrading your archer's bow from the metal bow to the heavy metal bow, black metal bow, or death metal bow. Number 7. Last but not least, you will receive a conjuration scroll. This is the key mechanic and resource for the Slayer Emil, who we do not have on show here today. Keep this in your inventory in case he joins your team later on. Okay, so back to my Slayers now. I was in the Dark Scar River previously, now I'm moving to Weatherworn Burrow. So in order to access Weatherworn Burrow, I'll still be playing an event card beforehand, because we're going from landmark to landmark, even though I don't need to roll dice because they're next to each other. So I've got Power Rider, so it means my next navigational roll is going to be nullified. Now, I'd much rather have that now than towards the end of the game, so I'm just going to hang on to that for the moment, so have it for when I next go to roll. So I'm into Weatherworn Burrows now. Let's get an introduction to that area.
Weatherworn Burrow has been used by Omoon the Corpse Grinder to hide relics of the kingdom as well as many other treasures. He has lured a mud troll of the Death Marsh to guard his treasure. To keep the beast satisfied, he feeds the monster the children of any disobedient slaves. Room 1. Wolfdown. What appears to be a giant wolf-like creature lies in the centre of the room. Protruding from its stomach is a sword drenched in black blood. In the jaws of the beast is an arm partly cloaked in armour. Could its owner still be alive within the burrow? And was it they who fell the beast? Room 2. Breaking up the band. Ahead of the Slayers are 3 paths. 2 lead into darkness and 1 to a giant door. The Slayers agree to split up with 1 Slayer going left and 1 right. The remaining Slayers will try to open the door. Select 2 Slayers to face the challenges that lay ahead. Both Slayers then progress on their own path. The Slayers that are not selected take no further part until room 9.
I'm going to send off Ada and Winter. No. Nekfia and Ada on this journey. And these 2 are going to go to the door.
Room 3 and 4. Switch together. There are 2 levers. one in each room. The Slayers must activate both levers to open the next door. Demon Team draws one puzzle card for each Slayer. Completing the puzzle activates the lever.
So with rooms 3 and 4 called Switch Together, we're going to be going through 2 different puzzles here, one for each Slayer. Now, with the different puzzles, you get option of picking a general puzzle or it's going to be a lore puzzle. With a lore puzzle, you get the reward of getting a spirit as well. So that's why I'm going to go for both of them, try and get some spirits before I reach the boss. So it pays to learn a bit more about Eragoth.
Stormfrost Rulers. There are 4 statues each with a word carved into their chest. The words are Sworn, Learned, Colossal and Shield. On the floor a message reads, "Stand before them and speak the name of history," followed by the names Girahelm, Hook, Dronfor and Strafford. The hint is match the ruler with the word.
So drawn for the Colossal,
Yep.
Strafford the Shield,
Yep.
Puck the Learned,
Yep.
and Girahelm
Yep.
the Swan.
All Slayers receive one spirit emblem.
History of the Greenbloods. A mechanical tree sprawls across the wall, its branches engraved with questions and its fruit bear the answers. To light up the tree, Slayers must answer all 3 questions correctly by pressing the fruit that bears the correct answer. If correct, the tree will light in sections. All questions are about the Alrin people. Slayers will have 1 attempt per question. Question 1. How many Alrin elders were there? Is the answer 6, 9 or 12?
12.
Yes.
Okay.
Question 2. Name of the Alrin whose death spelt the end of the great battles between Alrin and the Elnor. Is the answer Mir, Simogen or Elasis?
Is Mia. Yes.
Question 3. Night Dawn is at the most northern part of Eragoth. What is the name of the islands that surround it? Is the answer Ulri Islands, Fey Islands or Inso Islands?
Fey Islands. Oh my god. It's almost like you made it.
Completing this puzzle will give all Slayers 1 spirit emblem. If Slayers manage to light the tree with 3 correct answers, they also receive 2 elixirs of recovery type level 3.
Oh my god.
So whatever that does.
That's 150. I've got 3 of them now.
Wow.
Room 5 and 6. The way is shut. A warden of the dungeon blocks the Slayer's path. The only way out is through. Step 1. The demon captain draws 2 level 4 demons, send 1 to each room. Step 2. The Slayer will then face a number of rounds of combat against this demon set by a dice roll. Demon captain rolls 1d6 for each demon. 1 to 2 results in 1 round, 3 to 4 for 2 rounds, and 5 to 6 for 3 rounds of combat. Step 3. Aggressor roll takes place to determine who will move first. Combat then plays out for the decided number of rounds established in Step 2. Following combat, the demon vanishes into the darkness.
So that works out really well for me there, going for the 2 lore puzzles. Now, I know I have a bit of an unfair advantage being the person who wrote the lore, but that's why I made these questions multiple choice, so you don't have to remember everything. I mean, you could probably have a lucky guess, right? Also, players are able to refer to the lore as well, briefly, to try and find the answers. You have to know where to look as well. So,
Here we go.
so he's rolled a d6, so I'll tell you what we're going on here. So he's rolled a d6 free there, which means we're going to go into 2 rounds of combat. So what are we facing here is 1 level 4 per character. So first of all, we've got Gatekeeper going up against Nekfia. Okay, so I've won the aggressor roller, so I'll be going first. Let's have a quick look at Gatekeeper here. So Gatekeeper, Sands Demon, 370 HP with the moves Puppet Master, which does damage to 2 Slayers. Lightning Rider deals damage to 1 Slayer. There's potential for the Slayer to miss the next 2 rounds. And Damage for All, which deals damage to all Slayers. You can guess which musical band this was named after. Right, he's gone for Lightning Rider there. 65 damage to Nekfia. Nekfia's got 120 damage there with Kiss of Doom. And then a further 30 now for Nekfia there with Blackfire. So Rage is now maxed out as well. And then Gatekeeper's going to go for Lightning Rider again. And also, it's the criteria for Nekfia to miss the next 2 rounds, but this will be the end of the battle now anyway. Okay, so that's the end of that encounter. Gatekeeper is gone. We'll be seeing Gatekeeper a little bit later on, so I'll go a bit more in depth on that character when we see it. Now it's going to be Adder versus Frostbeard Giant. Let's have a look at Frostbeard Giant. It's a Frost Demon, 340 HP. It has Frostbolt, which will deal up to 4 times 25 damage. And you can split that across different targets. Bulldozer, which does 40 damage to one Slayer. It can be brought up to 60 damage. And Defrost. And he's hit the Frost there as well. So this means that Adder's going to be out of the current encounter and in the next as well. Now, it doesn't really matter for the first one because Frostbeard Giant's out. This is like a quick 1 versus 1 scenario. But in a more extensive battle, it's going to cause a real issue.
Rooms 7 and 8. A warrior's call. As the Slayers enter the next room, they both come across 2 wounded warriors. Slayers of another band of heroes trying to rid Eragoth of the evil that befalls it. One named Jables, who appears to have lost his arm. And the other, Cage, is also severely wounded, struggling to breathe. Your Slayers have a choice. Both Slayers need to decide whether they will each save an injured warrior. If they save both, the Slayers will be rewarded with an additional boss soul, the soul of the wolf beast, Greyfang, whose body they saw in the opening room. If one can be saved, the warrior will share their Everlight Nebula. The Slayers arrive on the other side of the giant door. They lift a huge wooden bar, opening it for the remaining Slayers to join them. As they rejoin, the warriors tell their story. It was they who defeated the keeper of the dungeon, an evil beast known as Greyfang, a long-forgotten creature of the mountain. Unknown to these warriors, there is another who claims the dungeon, Grimman the Weather-Worn.
So where this is really causing me a problem now is freezing Adder out has come from taking the Grimmon battle we're about to go through now. Adder's going to be outside, but I also was unable to go with my main plan of getting 2 boss souls because I came to this place specifically to get the 2 boss souls and I couldn't save both of the Slayers from another party there. So I mean, I know it was purely luck picking that card, but what a time to pick that Frostbeard Giant right there. So let's have a look where we are. Let's have a look at Grimmon the Weather-Worn. So Grimmon the Weather-Worn has 900 HP, it's an Earth Demon. It has the move Stench, which is a curse that deals damage to one Slayer. So it does 40 damage and it will do a further 15 background damage over time until the curse is broken. There's Mud Throw, which deals damage to one Slayer, and you can do a bonus damage of bring that up from 50 to 100 if you roll the elemental dice of Earth. And in Muddy Waters, all Slayers have to roll their d6. Any Slayers that do not roll 3+ will be able to move for the next 2 rounds. So pretty strong one there, and there we've just seen Muddy Waters there used as well. Now I managed to evade that, which is pretty good. Let's go around to Yannick. Oh, and Yannick has just achieved Guardian. Here we go. So we're bringing in Xena. Let's check out Xena's character. So Xena has Celestial Root, which deals 95 damage to one demon, Guardian Grace, which will recover 50 HP, and an Overgrown, which I've just hit there, 300 damage to Grimmon there. It's down to 250 already. I'm going to struggle to get through this card before the end of the battle, I think. So yeah, 300 damage there with Overgrown, and then it also has Everlasting Spirit, which means I can keep this character potentially for longer than just the couple of battles. Now we're going to go on to Necvia now. I'm going to use my bar. So I rolled sand, so my own battle bar will restart again from 5, so that's quite good because it means I'm going to be part of the way there. And then for the damage, so it's a big number, so I'm rolling a d12 for Xena. It's only a 2 though. It's another 2. Another 2. And obviously Adder is frozen out, Adder's taking no part in this battle. So there's 60 damage there off the elemental breakdown, but at least I'm starting again from 5 down to 190. And Winter hits with 60 damage there with Winter's Fury. So down to 130. Absolutely slaying through this boss at the moment. What's he going to do now? I think try and delay. Try and buy some time back. So he's going to go for Muddy Waters again, see if he can stop me from attacking and be able to get some extra attacks in. So Xena cannot move. Necvia can. And so can Winter. So unfortunately, as soon as we saw Xena, she's now gone back out. And he's going to move up his battle bar for successfully completing that move. And he's under 50% HP as well, so he's also moving it up by another 5. So the battle bar for the demon is getting up pretty high as well. So 30, so bring it down to 100. And in Winter, I'm just going to go with Winter's Fury. A further 70 damage, so we're down to 30, so it's right within our sights now. It should be gone very soon. Unfortunately though, just hit with Mud Throw, and he's got the bonus damage, which is 100 damage to Winter, so just on the brink of death there. He's able to get some serious damage in. So Netflix is going to go Blackfire, clear it out nice and easy. So that's my boss done. I made very much light work of that, considering that he had like 900 HP. So I can't roll now when I'm coming out because my next roll is nullified, so I'm basically not going to be able to move now. So I'm going to play my encounter card, and it's a standard encounter. So let's see what Mark's going to summon in. So he's just gone for one level 1. Now I understand why he did this. There's a few different things that are going on here we need to quickly talk about. So one being, he's lost 2 Slayers. He needs to preserve some demon coins in order to hire some new Slayers from the guild. Secondly, I've got 2 Guardians, so I'm going to be doing a lot of damage each round. But then again, if you was to have a strong team against, say, Atra at the moment and take Atra out, I will not be able to summon that Guardian back later on. So there's a few different things that are going on here. So Frostborn Axeman there, just let's hit off the... let's take a look at the character first of all. So he's only got 1 R. He's a Frost Demon, 150 HP. His Axe Attack can deal 30 damage to all Slayers. However, if you roll Frost Element, it can do 60. And that's what he did in that first round. I think he did more damage to me than the boss with 900 HP actually, there in one move. So Xena is taking it down to 55. Nekfia's used one of our HP potions. And then Ada's going to use Thrash. That's 50 damage on Frostborn Axeman. With no bonus there. And then down to Atra. So Atra says, clear it out then with Celestial Vision. 85 damage is gone. Okay, so we're rolling for Golden Demon Coins, topping up my totals there as well. And then because it's the end of my second battle now with Xenia, is now a case of rolling for Everlasting Spirit. So unfortunately, I don't hit that requirement. You have to roll an 8+ to be able to keep your Guardian for a further encounter. So once you get past that second encounter threshold. But it's only my first encounter with Atra, so no issues there. My bars went down to 0 at the end of my turn, and now it's over to Mark's team. Now, we did introduce this character last time around. If you've watched the other instruction video, you'd have been introduced to Ray, who's the most powerful, good character in the game. So Ray does Celestial Ray, which is 100 damage, Guardian's Grace as well, recover 50 HP, and Spear of Light does 500 damage. Their ability, Light in the Dark, if you're against Shadow Element demons, you also add a further 100 damage. So you're up against a Shadow Demon, you can do 600 damage there with Spear of Light. It's a crazy amount of damage. So on Mark's first go here, he's got a chest. So it's a level 1 chest. Which he's done, and then he's into a town, so he's going to be acquiring some items.
Orion's Rest, one of the largest cities of Eragoth, is named after one of the 8 guardians of the Radiant City, whose emblem is also a wolf. It is said that Orion focuses his watch on the ranges that touch the sky. The Wolven Palace, former home of Kuloth the Red, resides within the city walls.
So he's going to be going into town now, so while he's doing that, I'm going to take the opportunity to introduce you to the 2 Slayers he's going to be hiring. So first up is Meadow, who's a healer.
Many believe that Dahlia created the fairies, which would explain the unique connection that they have to the goddess of nature. Meadow can call upon the goddess Dahlia for aid during battle. When in need, Dahlia will cast a spell of restoration across the Slayers. Meadow carries a leather pouch containing healing waters from a spring that was once found in the Losfer Woods. As long as a drop of water remains within the flask, it will regenerate, refilling the pouch. Since the fall of Havenwatch to Gorgonoth, the fairies have been driven out of the forest and back to the Spirit Islands. Although fairies are not known for their physical strength, Meadow is determined to show the other races of Eragoth that what the fairies lack in stature, they make up for in courage and ability.
And they have the arts Razored Winds, which does 50 damage to 1 demon, Healing Spring, where Meadow recovers 50 HP, and Spirits of the Forest, where if you roll 8+, you will recover 100 HP for all Slayers. The ability Halo, When their HP is at or below 100, Meadows Healing Arts will restore 50 more HP. They're a Sand Slayer as well. And then the other one that he will be hiring is Gogan, who is the other tank. So we had one tank with Dio earlier, we're now going to have the other tank, which is Gogan.
Gogan is a mercenary hailing from the now destroyed Skyreach City, a former Gianthian city of the Dark Moors, now known as the Death Marsh. He roams the vast continent of Eragoth looking for work, often capturing criminals and assassins in exchange for gold. He often keeps the shields of his bounties, repurposing them as extra armour for himself. Before his life as a mercenary, Gogan was a guard of Skyreach City. During the attack on Skyreach, Gogan was able to evacuate some of the vulnerable using his huge frame as a shield. He blames himself that he did not do more, as he was only able to save a handful of his people. A once joyous talisman of his community, he now cuts a jaded and angry figure who is no longer happy in the life that he leads. Gogan has offered his services to defeat the Skeleton Witch as his way to make up for those who he could not save.
So Gogan, another Sand Slayer, has Grave Impact. Will always do 20 damage. Will do 70 if you've got the bonus effect there if you roll evens on a d6. Shield Wall, so all Slayers will take 50 less damage from all demons in the next round. So essentially he's putting down his big shield in front of his party and they hide behind it. And then Tectonic Shift will be drawing all the aggro from all demon attacks for the next 2 rounds. Their ability, People's Champion. So whilst Gogan is over 600 HP, one Slayer per round can reduce their power up criteria by 1. And this also applies when executing a Slayer strike. So really handy couple of characters to bring in as replacements. So let's pick up the action on Meadows' first turn here. Meadows going to be doing Razored Winds. And let's have a look at their up against. So up against Pentafrost. I went with the same tactic that he did really. Because he had a couple of Guardians there, he's in a much better spot now. So I've just gone with 1 level 3. So I didn't go quite with the 1 level 1 that he did, but 1 level 3, see what we can do. So Pentafrost is a Frost Demon with 300 HP. It has Divine Symbol. So Divine Symbol, what it will do is if you roll evens on a d6, it will stop all Slayers from attacking. All Slayers will need to roll their d6, and the 2 that roll highest will be only missing 1 round of combat. The ones that roll lowest will be missing 2 rounds of combat. Lullaby, which we saw earlier, will recover 100 HP, and Poltergeist, which I think we've seen already as well, will deal damage to Slayers, and that's what I'm going to do now with Pentafrost dealing 30 damage to Meadow and Gogan. That's going to be a tactic we'll see from now. So what I'm thinking is Meadow's a healer, Gogan's a tank. These are the 2 that are going to really cause me problems. I know the other 2 will be doing a lot of damage, but with Meadow's healing abilities and Gogan's ability to stop me from doing damage, that's a really good combo for them. But I'm down to 30 HP, so I'm not sure I'll be hanging around for much longer. And it's 80 there from Orion with Celestial Rain, and that is Pentafrost gone. So it's back over to my team. So I'm going to go on the southern route out of Darkscar River. I haven't got to play through the event again, you just skip straight through it. So I've got a chest. There's a lot of chests actually. I haven't had many navigational bonuses so far, but I guess that's the joy of randomly drawing cards. Okay, so that's my card gone. And one thing actually to touch on, which I just to mention, is that Orion's now gone. Orion doesn't have Everlasting Spirit, so once you've had your 2 goes with them, they are gone. And then on my encounter card, I've drawn an inventory card, so no encounters for me this time. And I'm going to heal Winter by, or be Atra at the moment, by 50 HP using an item.
Deep within Wolf Mountain resides the hub of the miners of black metal ore. The people of the camp are mostly from Orion's Rest, with the remaining numbers coming from across Eragoth.
I have quite a lot of gold. Actually, I've got 39 gold now, so I'm going to buy quite a lot. So let's have a look at the items I'm going to be buying. I'm going to go for 2 potions of Lightfoot. So a potion on Lightfoot is where you can flee from an encounter. They're definitely going to come in handy later on. Also bought a Curse Breaker Brew. I've got 100 HP Revive, 100 HP Heal. I went and got a buff, which ends up getting armor level 1, so I can reduce some damage. And then here on Mark's turn, he's actually, on his first turn, he's pulled a usurper card. So what a usurper card does is it immediately ends your turn. So it's going to come straight back over to me as well. So there's a couple of usurpers in each deck, so you got to be careful of them. Okay, so I rolled a 1. Move forwards, I'm going to go with my... I'm feeling a little bit dicey, right? Because he just pulled a usurper card out of the encounter deck, I was a bit worried he might be one in the action. So I know I've got to draw it eventually, but let's go with the encounter first. So it's a brutal encounter, and he's brought in Hunter, so another level 1. So Hunter is a sand steamer with 130 HP with the arts Archery 1, which is tiered damage, can do up to 50 damage, Dagger, which will do 25 damage, and then Spear, which will do 55 damage, but Hunter will miss the next round. So he starts off there with Spear, and he's going to do 55 damage there to Atra. Now, this is going to be quite interesting what happens in this encounter. So again, he's gone with the tactic of going low with the amount of demon coins being spent. Now, I would probably be doing the same as well in this. As you've seen, I had a level 2 or level 3 it was with Pentafrost previously. But what this opens up is an opportunity for the team which has the Guardian, or the more Slayers or powerful Slayers, an opportunity to heal. So he's done the 55 damage there to Atra, and then I've recovered there with Yannick, brought an extra 50 HP back to Atra. Now, Ada's done Thrash 50 on Hunter, and on Atra I'm now going to use Guardian's Grace, which is going to give me another 50 HP, brings me back up to 300. And then Hunter can't move because of using Spear in the previous round. It's come back round to Yannick, and Yannick is going to go again for Spirit Rising and heal Atra again by another 50 HP, bringing me up to 350. Going to hit Black Fire there for 30 damage, bringing them down to 20. And then we're going to finish up with Ada with Thrash. Okay, and that concludes the battle, and that's Hunter gone. So he throws up an interesting point about what's the best way of trying to manage Guardians when you're on the opposing team. So I've just rolled my D12 there. That's for Everlasting Spirit. If I hit that, I'll be able to continue my time with the Guardian. If not, I'm going to start from scratch again. And I've just rolled a 1 there for my navigation roll. So because I rolled it on my previous turn, you cannot roll 1 on both of your navigational rolls. So I got to re-roll there. And I'm going to play my navigation card, and it's another chest. So we've had a high amount of chests actually so far, considering the amount of navigational bonuses. Let's see if we get some more navigational bonuses on the second map. So over to Mark's turn now. He's just starting off now in the Dragon Graveland. Let's see how he's... Let's give him his turn before we do introduction. So he's got a 6. Brings him up to Firemouth Point, and let's see what card he's going to play. He's pulled a Usurper card, so this has actually ended his turn, and it comes back to me. So this is a good point then for us to drop in the introduction to Dragon Graveland.
The Dragon Gravelands have been known by this name since the Second Age. In the present day, the region has become home to the cult of the Infernal Flame, who worship the legendary dragons of the Second Age. They believe in the resurrection of the one called Skell Umdral, the demonic dragon that appears in many ancient texts. As part of the cult are attempting to summon this great dragon, they abduct and sacrifice beings young and old at their secret temple, hidden within the death metal mines, the crypt of the Infernal Flame. Their place of worship, however, is in the east, at the Church of the Infernal Flame. The cult have already resurrected the great dragon Dragnal, who now resides at Firemouth Point. It is believed that the cult have been active here since the Second Age, where they infiltrated Etheon places of worship using the dark sorcery of their leader, the one called the Shepherd of Fire. They brainwashed those from the service of Thelmia to the Infernal Flame, and in time their numbers grew. In addition to their sacrificial rituals, the cultists have enlisted demon forgers in their ranks. The nameless fiend that resides in the scorched ruins is but one of the demon forger's creations. Its body appears to be of different beings of Eragoth fused together. Their reanimated corpses are scalded by the burning lava that oozes from within. The nameless monster has been dubbed the Scorched One. It burrows beneath the land, feasting on buried corpses, leaving behind pools of burning flesh on the surface. It appears to burrow across many regions of Eragoth, as it is said that the burrowing was responsible for the collapse of a mine in Stormfrost. Many of the region's structures, natural or otherwise, are formed of dragon bones. Their everlasting frames, still imposing on the horizon, are a constant reminder of ages past.
So picking up the action now following Mark's Usurper card. So when it comes back round to his turn, he will play his landmark first and then start his turn as normal. So he still gets his 2 navigational rolls on the second time round. So I love the Usurper card because I feel the longer the game goes, the higher the tension gets as you're turning over the cards, as there's 2 in each deck. Oh, and we've got a navigational bonus card here. I can immediately move up to 6 squares in my chosen direction with the card Black Rider. So I'm definitely going to use that, and that should take me That takes me straight into the Scorched Ruins, so let's have an introduction to that.
In centuries past, this was a temple to Re, the deity of light. Most of the relics and nearly all historical text that was once kept here have been destroyed in fires and the tides of lava that now run rampant throughout the ruins. The temple is now the nest of the Scorched One, a beast forged by the demon forgers, crafted from the bodies of the peoples of Eragoth. Room 1, the floor is lava. The floor in front of the Slayers begins to flow with lava. It is said to excrete from the monster that dwells within the ruins. The Slayers can make out 2 possible routes across the room by jumping on scattered objects. To determine the route, the Slayer captain chooses either easier route, more rolls but lower criteria, or harder route, less rolls but higher criteria. Apply a modifier of +2 to Meadow and Sharon's rolls, as a fairy has a greater chance of crossing. Apply a modifier of -2 to Gogon's rolls, as what he has in size, he lacks in agility. Step 1. To make each jump, each Slayer rolls 1d12. Easy. Rolls of 2+, jump 1, 2+, 3+, jump 2, and 4+, jump 3. A failed roll can be saved by rolling 5 + 1d12, which will complete the specific jump. Hard, rolls of 6+, jump 1, and 8+, jump 2. A failed roll can be saved by rolling 5+ on 1d12, which will complete the specific jump. In both cases, a failed saving roll results in the Slayer falling into lava, taking 60 damage, 20 if Slayer is frost element. This Slayer then progresses to room 2.
Scrollkeeper's stories advanced. Slayers find themselves in a room with spiked walls. At its centre is a blue flame. As they approach, a ghostly figure of an ancient scrollkeeper rises from the flame. In a haunting voice, it speaks, "If you wish to proceed, free of pain, answer these questions from the flame." Slayers have 1 attempt per question. You can tell I read kid stories. From each incorrect answer, the spike walls move closer together.
Okay.
Question 1. Name of the flower that is stained by Thelmia's blood. Is the answer A, bloodleaf, B, crimson stem, or C, bloodrose?
Blood rose.
Yes.
Question 2. Who established the Wolven throne? Is the answer A, Magnus, B, Nesbit, or C, Joshua?
Magnus.
The Wolffather.
Question 3. Where are the Eva said to reside? Is the answer A, the Overarch, B, the Vastlands, or C, the Radiant City?
Overarch.
Correct. For 2 correct answers, all Slayers receive 1 spirit.
Oh, he's popping.
So all Slayers receive 1 spirit, and that means we can bring in not 1, but 2 Guardians going to a boss battle. What a position to be in. So first up we have Simogen, which has the art Celestial Flame, which will deal 90 damage to 1 demon. Guardian's Grace, same as all the other Guardians, recovering 50 HP, and Firestorm Cannon with a 6+ will do 280 damage to 1 demon. It also has Everlasting Spirit, which means I can potentially keep it around for further battles before restarting. Also we have Esmoa, which has Celestial Bolt, which deals 100 damage. Again, Guardian's Grace recovering 50. And then the Mighty Bolt Thrower with 7+ will do 370 damage to 1 demon, again with Everlasting Spirit. Now with the boss we have the Scorched One, which is an Inferno Demon, 800 HP, with the art's Burning Fang, which will deal damage to 1 Slayer with a bonus of potentially recovering 50 HP. And then Soul Ripper, deal damage to 1 Slayer, and this Slayer is unable to select healing arts and healing items in the next round. Damage could be between 50 to 90 depending if you get the Inferno roll. And picking up the action now, Esmo has just dealt 370 damage to the Scorched One there with Bolt Thrower. Huge amount of damage, nearly taking it under 50% HP in the first round. And just before that, Yannick had recovered 50 HP to Simogen. So over now to the Scorched One, it's going to go for Soul Ripper, and it deals 90 damage to Yannick, and Yannick is unable to heal in the next round. So let's heal themselves or heal one of their fellow party. So it's going to come around to Yannick now. Yannick will go with Warblade as unable to attack, as unable to heal. Just 40 damage there from Warblade. Simogen is going to go with Celestial Flame with 90. Bring him down to 300. And another 100 then from Esmoa. with Celestial Bolt. And then down to Winter. I mean, what a time to have 2 Guardians. Perfect timing, really. You couldn't ask for it better. So making great progress. So while making great progress through this boss battle, I'm just going to tell you about another playthrough we had. So the game we're watching at the moment was filmed about a month ago. Played yesterday, and in the final boss battle, I went in with the best position I think I've ever been in all the years I've been playing. I had 3 Guardians. I've been to a boss battle with 4 Guardians before, but I'd also completed a side quest to get me an item called Witch's Trinity, which is available at the Shadowfall level, and that dealt 1,500 damage in a single move. So it really does pay if you are going to go off the beaten track and try and complete some of these side quests or get the divine items, because okay, it's great having the Guardians, they're so powerful, but being able to just drop the final boss down by 3/4 of their HP in one move felt pretty satisfying, I must say, after the amount of times I've lost to them. So yeah, it felt really good yesterday. So yeah, back with the action here. Simogen is going to recover 50 HP. There's 80 left for the Scorched one now, and the Scorched one is gone now with Celestial Bolt. So I've made very light work there of that boss battle. So we're going to room 5 now.
The statue of Rey, half destroyed, stands amongst flames and rubble. In their outstretched hand is a key. The Slayers receive the key to the west entrance of Hard Rock Settlement.
This will open up the route now for both parties. So if we're on the same route, he'll be able to also go into the same area. Let's see if he goes that way as well. Okay, so I rolled a 6 on my next navigational roll, and let's see what we're going to get. And it's going to be a standard encounter, and let's see if he maintains the same tactic as going with low-level demons to face my Guardians. He's summoned in a Hemlock, which is a level 1 demon, Inferno, and it has 145 HP with the arts. Poison Vine, deal damage to 1 Slayer with a further 20 damage in the background. So some damage over time going on there to the end of the encounter. There's also a bonus if you roll the element of Inferno, it will add plus 30 damage on the initial round. So 20 damage regardless, with 20 in the background to the end of the encounter, or it could be 50 on that first go if you get the Inferno roll. Razor will deal damage to 1 Slayer, and the damage of Razor increases by 10 each time it is used, and damage increases not reset when switching targets, so that will continue to get better. So, you know, okay, on its own, not going to do a huge amount, but you put that in a team of a few other demons, that plus 10 each time is going to really add up. So let's join the action now and see what Hemlock is going to do. So Poison Vine's going to go on Winter. So that's 20 done there, down to 330, and there'll be... So the way damage over time works in Book of Skulls is that the initial damage is done there. We just saw Hemlock do the original 30 damage. But then each time it comes back to Winter, before you move, that's when you take your damage over time. So you'll see before Winter moves next, there'll be another 30 coming off to bring them down to 300. So some damage going in. Oh, didn't even get the time because it was just gone there. So Celestial Bolt and Celestial Flame there just wipes out before we even got to see the damage over time.
Firemouth Point, home to the resurrected Dragnel. The name Firemouth Point is an old name dating from the Second Age, where many people were experiencing dragons for the first time, referring to them as Firemouths.
Okay, so we're straight into the boss battle now, back with Mark's team. As I said earlier, is that because he pulled the Usurper, he'll then be playing his landmark before he goes in to starting his turn with his action and encounter card. So the Slayers have won the aggressor roll, 11-9. So we're going to start off here with Rey first of all. Oh, and it's missed. That could have been a big blow straight. 500 damage straight off the bat. I don't blame him for going for that tactic there. It's sometimes too tempting to go for the rolls, right? And play the odds. But although, you know, Rey's base damage, yeah, we're still doing a hefty amount each time. So 20 damage there, dealt by Hunter. And then Meadow's going to go in with Razor's Winds for another 50. Gogan puts down that shield wall there, so that's going to reduce damage dealt in the next round by 50. So let's have a look at Dragnel. We kind of jump straight into the action there. Let's have a look at the character. So Dragnel is a dragon. There's a subtle bit of name in there, but as you can see next to its name it has a little symbol, and this is the symbol of dragon. Now the reason why this is on here is because one of the Slayers, Ava, she has an ability that just affects dragons, and this is how you know which character is a dragon. It's an Inferno Demon, 700 HP with the art Scorching Gale, which deals damage to all Slayers. It will do 80 to everybody, but then they will miss the next round. Words of the Fire Tongue will curse all magic Slayers who are unable to use elemental arts to arrest the combat unless the curse is broken. And Hyper Flame, 9+ on a D12 to deal damage to 2 Slayers, 120 each. So a really big move there, albeit with quite a high dice roll, but I'm sure I'll be trying to go for that at some point. So to start off, I've gone with Scorching Gale. Because of having Shield Wall up, I thought, well, at least I can get some guaranteed damage rather than wasting maybe the good fortune of the dice rolls by going for Hyper Flame and hitting it and then only to have 50 taken off. So 30 on everybody. I missed the next round, but I think it was worth it as a good starting point. The reason why I haven't gone for Words of the Fire Tongue, I would have probably done it if Lydia was there, because a very strong magic character. And I don't believe they've got an option here to break curses as well. But who knows? I think Dragon's going to be around for that long, because Razor's hit Spear of Light for 500 damage, taking Dragon down to 130. I mean, what a character Ray is. It's so powerful. And I know I talk about this in the how-to video, but in case you haven't watched that yet, the reason why the Guardians are so powerful is because it's just really cool being able to do lots of damage to the bad guys. And that being one point. The second point as well is that when you're in a battle, and I've seen this so many times over the years, when you're in a battle and say, you know, you're struggling against a boss and you just get a Guardian coming at the right moment, it's like such an elative time, because then you're like, okay, here we go, we can go take them on and defeat them now. So yeah, I really like that mechanic actually, I must say. So that's the end. Dragnor was well all taken care of there. He's added in another boss souls. He's got enough boss souls now to get to the end. Also, he's also got the art, the buff, power art level 1 up, and he's also got Helgoth's Slayer item. Rado is gone because they don't have Everlasting Spirit. And into the next encounter, and it's a standard encounter, and I'm going to be summoning in 2 level 2s and 2 level 1s. Okay, starting off there, these are all Shadow Demons. The first one in is Skull Warrior, 240 HP with the arts. Black Skull dealing 40 damage to 1 Slayer. Evil Eye, which means that Black Skull will deal damage to all Slayers in the next round, and Warrior's Cry, meaning that Skull Warrior will take 50% less damage for the next 3 rounds. Dragon Witch, 225 HP, has Dragon Call, which can summon a level 1 Drager. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that here in the first round, because that's pretty much the best tactic to do, to bring them in as they act as effectively a 5th demon, which will sit on top of the Dragon Witch, so take the place of the Dragon Witch in combat. Cup of Shadows, Dragon Witch will recover 50 HP with potential up to 100 HP, and Evo 9+, 65 damage to all Slayers. Scavenger, level 1, 120 HP, has Archery level 1, which is a tier damage move, and Hook, which will do 35 damage to 1 Slayer with rolling evens. And Nightblade, one of the weakest demons in the deck, just has 115 HP with Night Dagger, doing damage to 1 Slayer, 40 damage up to 55. And now I've actually hit the bonus there on the move with Meadow. That's 55 damage there from Nightblade. So around to Helgoth. Helgoth's gone for Judgment Day, which they've fouled. And we see the Drager's been brought in as well in this first one. Let's introduce Drager before we go any further. So Drager, 140 HP, level 1 Inferno Demon, has Fire Wind, deals 45 damage to 1 Slayer, and Aerial, which is an evasion-based art. So once used, the targeted Slayer who Aerial's been used on will have to roll 3+ to attack the Drager for the rest of the encounter. So back to the action now. Shield Wall has been brought in, which will reduce all demon attacks by 50 in the next round. So I'm going to go with Skull Warrior and use Evil Eye again. So I used it in the first round as well, but because he put Shield Wall in, I'll better restart the effects of that and go again for this round. So next up is going to be Drager, and Drager's going to go with Aerial against Rose. So as I was saying, this will mean that Rose will need to roll 3+ in order to attack the Drager for the rest of combat. Now this will not affect AoE art, so that's an art which affects all Slayers at the same time. It's only if they're directly targeting Drager. So Archery 1 from Scavenger of Meadow, so that's going to do 10 damage there because of having Shield Wall up. And then lastly, Night Dagger will do no damage because it cannot do more than 50. So background with Helgoth, and Helgoth is going to go for Judgment Day, so they only got roll 5+ as they're using, we've got the full rage from the Slayer item, and also using Gogan's People's Champion ability, increasing the rage bar now for everybody. Of course, Helgoth stays at maximum rage, so we've got full rage there on Rose as well. Rose is going to use the rage now. Aerocalypse. Oh wow! So he's got a Slayer Strike, so he's rolled a 12. That's 75 damage to everybody. And because it's an AoE art, it's a bypass through Aerial, and it's another 75. So that's Drager gone, Scavenger gone, and Nightblade gone. Just devastating round. So this brings back the Dragon Witch back into combat, and let's see what Meadow's going to do. He's going to go for healing power roll, and he's done Spirit of the Forest again with another slash strike. Got 12 again, so it's another 100 HP back to everybody. And he's hit the repeat as well, so another 100 HP. So what a round that's been. That's 2 slash strikes in 1 round. He's taken out 3 demons and he's recovered 200 HP. So that's a fantastic round there for him. And then Grave Impact from Gogan on Skull Warrior, bringing them down to 20. So now, using the benefit of having Evil Eye from the previous round, Black Skull's going to do 40 damage to everybody, and Dragon Witch is going to go for a vote, and it hits, and that's 65 damage to everybody. So I've got 20 left there on Skull Warrior and 225 on Dragon Witch. And then 40 damage on Skull Warrior, and he's gone there from Edge of Darkness. Rose is going to go Hunter, Dragon Witch 20. So Rose is still on the first bow. She's still using the metal bow. There is options to upgrade to the heavy metal bow, black metal bow, and death metal bow. Spirits of the Forest, he went for another heal there. Maybe raiding his luck a little bit too much there, but and that one missed. And then Gogan again with the 70 on Dragon Witch, bringing him down to 135. So I think it's time Dragon Witch is going to go for Cup of Shadows. And with the bonus as well, got the even, so it's going to be 100 HP recovery there. Very nice. So pretty much back to full health now. And then Dragon Witch again there, another couple of attacks on them. What's Meadow going to do? Is Meadow going to go for Razor's Winds? No, he's gone for the Power Art again. That one's fouled. I guess he really needs to try and recover some HP. Wants to keep Gogan above 600 ideally, so you can use the benefits of People's Champion. And then Gogan's now going to go for the Elemental Breakdown, so also recover 50 HP as his Earth. And then for the damage, got 160 damage there dealt to Dragon Witch, bringing him down to just 5 HP hanging in there. So I've got one last roll. We'll go for a bow. I think that's the only option. You might as well try and go out with a bang. And it hits again. It's another 65 damage dealt to everybody there with a bow. Great way to bow out there for Dragon Witch, and I'm sure they're not going to survive another round. Oh, so again, Judgment Day, rolling for spirits, increasing the rage of everybody. I'm sure he's going to play it through and go maybe for Gogan to take him out, because Gogan's guaranteed 20 damage, so good opportunity now to try and get some healing in, maybe try and get some more spirits. That's a sensible play that he's going for here. So Meadow, yeah, Spirit of the Forest, that's Vowed again. And he's going to finish it off with Grave Impact, surely. Yeah, Grave Impact and Dragon Witch is gone. So, add an extra 6 demon coins there. He's used his buff. Okay, so back now to my team. Got my 2 Guardians still, let's see what's going to happen. So, 2, so heading into town. And we've got a battle call card there off the action cards, and we draw in the top card. It's another brutal encounter. And let's see what he's going to do. He's going to put in another level 1. And he's gone for Gigorm. Level 1, let's have a look and see what we've got here. So it's a level 1, it's an Earth Demon as well, with 100 HP. It only has 1 art, and the art is called Crushed. It deals damage to all Slayers. So it does 30 damage to everybody, but if you roll the element of Earth, it increases it to 70. And I've got another Guardian here on the first round, so Xena's in. So just bring back Xena. Let's refresh ourselves on their move pool. So Xena has Celestial Root, 95 damage to one demon. Then you've got Guardian's Grace recovering 50 HP, and Overgrown will do 300 damage with a 6 bust. Also has Everlasting Spirit. So we're going for a round of heals here, by the looks of it. And Winter will do 70 damage, bringing Gigorm down to 30. So just to visualise it, Gigorm is like a giant worm type character. And I believe it, he's hit the bonus. It brings Crush from 30 up to 70. So it's undoing the HP just recovered, but it was worth recovering the HP, otherwise it would be in a difficult position. And then Xena in there with Celestial Root, 95 damage, it is gone. And increasing my battle bar because there's more defeated demons. Rolling for Everlasting Spirit. So Adder and Neckfear are back in play now, as the Everlasting Spirit is found on both of the Slayers, and then I'm going to be heading into a town. This is Hard Rock Settlement, which I got the key from the Scorched Ruin.
Once known as the town of Hard Rock, it was largely destroyed following an attack by a group of cultists. The settlement, now home to only a few people, is a welcome rest point for weary travellers. The surrounding area is still littered with the rubble of the old town and the bones of lesser-known dragons lost to history.
So at the town, I'm going to be going to the library and acquiring a spirit each, as well as learning a bit more about Eragoth. Then I'm going to be picking up 2 buffs from the shrine, and these were Power Art level 3, which is probably the best buff in the game, so you can flip that as well, remember, as a negative on an opposing Slayer as a debuff, and in Spirit up level 2, which means I can roll my Spirit dice more times. I'm also going to swap a Slayer as well. I'm going to bring in Erathorn in place of Winter, and Erathorn, the reason I've done this is because Erathorn is getting right close to the end of the game now. I want to try and up my damage output.
Erathorn is the leader of the Alrin of Heartwood, a region once found in Havenwatch Forest. He has already lost much to the Skeleton Witch, not only his home, but also his people. As an Alrin leader, he carries their sorrow and anger on his shoulders. An Alrin's origin can be distinguished by their hair colour. Erathorn's golden hair shows that he is from Havenwatch, a once key region of Eragoth, however, following the poisoning of the seed that gave life to the forest and the destruction of the great tree. There is little left of his homeland. The Alrin's connection to the spirits of the forest are built on vocal calls and songs. It is said that Erathorn is the most skilled of all, hence his ability to summon a great power when enchanting his sword. When summoning the spirits of the forest, Erathorn's great sword burns with the word Doombringer. It is said that this ancient blade dates back to the Second Age.
So Erathorn is an Earth Slayer. It has the art Shadow Striker, which will deal 50 damage regardless, but up to 100 damage if you can get a 6 on a d6. Thunder Voice will add 100 damage to Doombringer for the next 2 rounds, and Doombringer itself will do 160 damage to one demon. Earth has an advantage over Frost, so it'll be 240 damage against Frost demons, and Goblin Hunter will deal an extra 25 damage to goblins when everyone is attacking them. Now let's check out, I'm going into a brutal encounter, let's check out what demons we're up against. Okay, so up against 4 level 1 demons, starting off with an Eragoth, which is the Eragoth equivalent of a spider, but a pretty nasty spider at that. It's a Gloom demon, 100 HP with the art's web, which if you roll evens on a d6, the target Slayer will be unable to move for the next 3 rounds, and that's what it's done straight off the bat here on Xena, so Xena will be unable to move for the next 3 rounds. And it also has Bite, which will do 35 damage to one Slayer as a bonus of potentially stopping the Slayer from not moving in the next round. So that's a pretty mean level 1 there. Next up is Brawler, who's actually just used the art Ambush. So Ambush can only be used in the first round if your team has won the aggressor roll, which they have done. So 75 damage as well. And then Flash of the Blade will do 25 damage to all Slayers. Cultist Infernus, this is an Inferno Demon, 135 HP. Words of the Fire Tongue will curse all magic Slayers who are unable to use elemental arts for the rest of combat, and Dagger will do 35 damage. And finally, Parasite has the art Leech, which will absorb HP from its target. So you roll a d6, and based on that value, you will recover HP. So if you roll a 3, that'll be 30 damage, and you recover 30 HP. You cannot exceed your base HP, but still a pretty nice move there. And it also has Bite as well, same as the Eragoth as well. 40 damage this time rather than 35, but still an option of the target making this in their next round. Okay, so let's pick up the action. So we're back now with the Slayers. Ada has just done a further 50 to Eragoth, bringing them down to 20. And then a potion of life there from Erathorn fleeing the battle. So the reason why I've done that, as Erathorn's coming, when you sub a Slayer in for another, they do not start with 500 HP. They come in with the same HP as your exiting Slayer. So I really want to keep Erathorn going into the final battle, get some potions, because there's a town just outside the Skeleton Witch's castle. So best thing there was to try and run from the battle. Now for running, no one earns demon coins from that. So I've kind of forced his hand a little bit to use up some demon coins, but I don't really need them now myself because I'm so close to the end. Now back over to Mark's team. And he's got a White Rider card. This means the value of his next 2 d6 navigation rolls will be double. So you roll a 1, it's going to become a 2. He's going to apply that straight away. You can hold that in hand for later, but now is a real crunch time. We're right at the end of the game. And I don't believe he's rolled a 6. That's going to be doubled to a 12 now. Let's see how far that brings him. That should bring him all the way up to Hard Rock Settlement. I've already unlocked the lock that was on there, so you should be able to go straight in.
That's unlocked, right?
And he said, but before he can play the town, he's going to have to play his card. So could it be a usurper? Could it be another encounter? It's an inventory card, so he can use one item from his inventory. So heading into town, he's going to upgrade his bow now to the heavy metal bow, because he has some bow ore. He's also going to visit the shrine, and he's going to acquire a spirit up level 1 as well, because level 2 is already taken. That's a mechanic we can touch on at another time maybe. And then he's also got fortitude level 2, which will give him reduced dice rolls on his power arts. Very handy indeed. It's back to me. And I pulled a inventory card on my first go with my encounter card. So I'm going to choose to use my Elixir Recovery 3, 150 HP added on there for Eragoth, bringing it back to 260. And then I'm heading into the town. This is going to be Slayer's Fortune, just outside the Skeleton Witch's castle.
A small camp situated on the perimeter of the ruin of fading light. Local survivors of the atrocities of the Skeleton Witch have banded together to give any oncoming challengers the best chance they can to fell Dalgar and bring peace back to Eragoth.
It's a thief card, which means I can steal any of his action cards that he's held in hand, which he hasn't got in at the moment. This plays back to Mark. Right, this is on double. If he gets more than a 3, he's going to catch up. Oh no, he's rolled a 4. He's going to get into Slayer's Fortune as well. This is on his first turn, so it means he's still got one more turn left, which will take him to the Skeleton Witch's castle. So he's leapfrogged me right with 1 square at the end of the game. I can't believe it. His action card is Red Rider. So all I can hope for now is that he pulls a Usurper. He's into the Skeleton Witch's castle.
But first, I got a brutal encounter to get.
It's a brutal encounter, so no Usurper. He's definitely going to face a Skeleton Witch before me. All I can hope for now is that when I'm controlling the Skeleton Witch, is that I can defeat him, and then my team of Slayers, because I've also got the prerequisite amount of boss souls, I can get in and then take the glory for myself. So who are we going to bring in for this final overworld battle? We're going to be bringing in 2 level 2s, both Inferno. We're going to bring in Heretic, Inferno Demon, 200 HP with the Arts Heresy, which deals damage to 1 Slayer, so it's 35 damage. But whilst you're rolling your D12, if it's an evens, you'll add an extra 20 damage to bring up to 55, and if it's an 8+, you also will recover 30 HP. Ambush, same as what we saw earlier with the Brawler. If I win the aggressive roll, I can do 100 damage off the bat to him if I use it in the first round. And then Void of Fire, 8+ to deal 40 damage to 1 Slayer, but if it's 11+, I will do 90. Devil Driver, 250 HP, has Horn Charge, 45 damage. Dead Hands, for the next 2 rounds, Weapon Slayer's going to use Elemental Arts and Mauler, 4+ on a D6 for 50 damage to all. I'm going to start with Dead Hands here, so this will affect Gogan and Rose, only about to use their Elemental Arts. And then also with Heretic is going to do Ambush, that's 100 damage that's going to be dealt here as well to Gogan, bringing them down to 480 now. Okay, so we go right round now to the Slayers. To Helgoth. Helgoth's going to go with Judgment Day again. Really trying to push to get that Guardian now going to the Skeleton Witch's battle. So we're rolling the Spirit Dice again 3 times. And what's Rose going to do? Rose is on the so can you use the Elemental Art or an item. Each increasing the rage by 1. Potion of Life, and that's it, they're gone. On Rose's turn, fleeing the battle, that's Devil Driving Heretic. Burn, they managed to, that's the great thing about the Potion of Life, is that you can hold them in inventory and then use them right at these key points here, because I was setting them up. It's a pretty good combo I had there between the 2 of them. Now, let's enter the Skeleton Witch's castle and get an introduction to the character.
The Skeleton Witch has been known by many names throughout the ages. The Conjurer of Death, the Pale Witch of Alcandom, and now the Skeleton Witch of the Blackened Kingdom, Agent of Balmorg. Although his reach is far beyond that of the mortal realm, he was once a mortal whose identity has been lost to time. In his mortal life, the Skeleton Witch was believed to be a scroll keeper of the Second Order, and said to have been alive when the mighty dragons filled the sky. During his tenure studying the texts and magics of former years, it is said that he spent much of his time in the deserted underground land of Morroth before its collapse during the Second Age. His research brought him deeper and deeper into the dark texts of Balmorg and Oblivion before his soul was lost to the darkness. As he started practicing the dark arts, his power grew exponentially, gaining the attention of those that lurk in the shadows. His mortal life would end as he approached his 40th year. Undertaking the work of Balmorg, the keeper of the Blackened Kingdom, he attempted to infiltrate the Church of Thelmia, whispering poisonous words into the mind of the High Priest. However, it wouldn't be long until he was apprehended and set to death by isolation behind a seal of light. Although still of mortal flesh and blood, the dark aura was so strong within that it is said that he lived for nearly 1,000 days, with no food or water before his mortal body eventually perished, releasing his soul to the Blackened Kingdom. There he took the form of the Skeleton Witch and his given name, Delgar, which translates to Majesty of Night in Old Alrin. At the right hand of Balmorg, Dalgar honed the ability to move between realms, infiltrating the minds of those in Eragoth and beyond, to the far-reaching corners of Aelith, to dark, mystical places such as Alcandon.
And now to the Skeleton Witch in combat, the final boss, 2000 HP Shadow Demon. He is truly like nothing else we've seen so far. Nocturnal Symphony will deal 75 damage to one Slayer, with potential to increase to 125 if you roll Shadow Elements on the Elemental dice. You'll also be rolling your Spirit dice as well, and if any Slayer has acquired this Spirit, they'll be losing it from their Spirit box. For Dreamer Mirrors, the Skeleton Witch will recover 500 HP but be able to move for the next 3 rounds. During these rounds, the Slayers must roll 4+ to attack the Skeleton Witch whilst he is healing. Now, whilst he's healing, he'll be summoning a level 4 demon called a Gatekeeper, and the Slayers will have to pick whether to attack the Gatekeeper or to go for the Skeleton Witch. Then bringing in with the last arc called Hell Awaits. If you roll 8+ on a d12, it's 200 damage to one Slayer. If it's a 9, we'll be adding 50 damage to a Slayer who is either left or right of the Slayer who took the 200. If it's a 10, you're adding 50 damage to Slayers either side of the one that took the 200. If it's 11, you're adding 50 damage to all the other Slayers. And if it's a 12, it's 100 damage to all the other Slayers. So if you roll a 12, it's 200 damage to one and then 100 damage to all the other Slayers. So that's a serious move he's got there. Right, let's pick up the action now. Okay, so you'll be noticing that under the Slayers, they all have a red icon. So every character in battle can assign a buff or a debuff to either themselves or another character. So what we've done here, Helgoth has assigned Power Art Up to themselves. So Power Art Up, that will grant additional damage to your Power Art. It's not really going to affect Helgoth's one because Judgment Day doesn't do any damage, but it's because Ray is lurking there in the background. Once Ray comes in, you start increasing their Power Art, you're talking serious damage. We see Shield Walls that's been activated there. For Rose has got Spirit Up added, so they'll be rolling their Spirit dice an additional amount of times. I believe it's only level 1 that he has there, so we added an additional roll, so it's 2 rolls instead of 1. Then for Meadow, Fortitude down. This means that their Power Art will have a lesser roll criteria, and then Armor down has been placed on Gogan. So I'll be adding an additional 50 damage to Gogan with every attack that I do. So as you saw there, it's at 125 damage there to Gogan. Okay, bow and arrows are coming from Rose. There's 50 damage in this round and another 50 damage in the following round. And Gogan's going to follow up with another 20 damage there with Grave Impact. And I'm going to take my second 50 damage down from damage over time, so bring it down to 1880. So going on Gogan again, so this is going to be 75 plus the extra 50, so 125 damage, and if anyone has the Raven Spirit, they'll be losing it from the Spirit box. Another failure there on Judgment Day's really pushing for it. Rolling the Spirit dice, so got 2 rolls there for Rose now, and he's going to use another Burrowing Arrow, so that's going to be 50 and then another 50 coming up. I mean, Gogan's HP is getting really low now at 205. So he doesn't need to roll the Spirit there because Meadow doesn't have a Guardian, and he's going to go for the Spirit of the Forest, and he hits it. It's 100 HP recovery. So big gamble going for the Power Art again, but look at that. Helgoth, Rose and Meadow all at full health. It's just Gogan with 305. There was still, I think Gogan's time is, it's only a matter of time now until he's going to be taken out. Gogan's going to come in with another 70 there because he's got the even, so Grave Impact hits another 70, reducing Skeleton Witch's HP further down to 760. Right, we're going to go for Hell Awaits. And it hits, and it's 250 damage to Gogan. That's leaving Gogan with 55 left. There's no bonus there because it was just requiring to hit the 8 there. And it's also increased my battle bar to fully maxed now, so 100 damage is coming someone's way in the next round. So Helgoth's got their Power Art again, so Judgment Day, increasing the rage for everybody. As for the Spirit Dust, we will be seeing Ray again. Always close. Rose is getting very close now. It's only one away, and if you use another Bow and Arrow, so that's going to be another 50 damage this round, 50 damage next round. Current round to Meadow. We're going to see from Meadow now. And another Spirit of... I don't believe it. Another Spirit of Force. A Gogan again from 55 back up to 155. He just cannot take him down. Right, what's Gogan going to go with? He's going for Shield Wall. Is Shield Wall available? No, he's gone for the Battle Bar. Okay, so first up, what's the effect? It's Shadow, so all Slayers are going to gain 1 Spirit, and I don't believe it. This is going to be bringing in 2 Guardians now. Because he's now completed Helgoths, and he's also completed Rose, so Ray and Orion are in. 2 Guardians going to face the Skeleton Witch now. This is an absolutely incredible comeback, considering who's behind me as well. It starts to look, you know, he's in a reasonably good spot. Actually, still with 3 Slayers at 500 against the final boss, but Gogan was obviously getting pretty low. But wow, Ray's here now. We're going to really start to see a lot of damage, and on the breakdown. So it's a 90, it's 120 damage we're going to see now on the 120 damage right there, very nice. So it's down to 1,490 now. So a quarter of his HP is gone. I'm going to use my bar now. It's Inferno, so that's 100 damage to all Slayers, but it's an additional 50 to Gogan. Oh, he's just down to 5. He just cannot get rid of him. Right, what's Ray going to do? Okay, so Ray has fouled on Spear of Light. And Polar Explosion has fouled as well. He's going with Meadow for heal to try and get Gogan alive. It's 3 fouled rolls in a row. Oh, okay, so interesting. He's now put tectonic shift, so I can only attack Gogan. He's sacrificing him. That's a good idea, really, to be fair. And look at that. Gogan is finally down. So 1 Slayer is down there with Nocturnal Symphony. And with the additional bonus there of removing spirits from the spirit box, there's 2 Guardians there now. Meadow doesn't have a spirit box because they're not paired with a Guardian. Right, so it's going to be cut round to Ray now. Let's see what Ray's going to be doing. She's got Power Art up. He's surely going to go for Power Art. Let's go for Spear of Light, surely. Spear of Light, 750 damage. So you've got the 500 damage plus 100 because of Ray's ability. And there's 150 damage with the buff as well. So up to 750 damage. Skeleton Witch is down to 740 now. Absolutely massive move there. I think he's just going to be going for the big specials. Although, you know, Ray and Orion can do a huge amount of damage from their base moves, but I feel like he senses victory in the air now. And Meadow's going to use the Elixir of Life of Inventory, so they've actually just revived Gogan. That's actually a really smart move, considering Gogan had 5 HP left. He played Tectonic Shift, so I had to only attack Gogan, so the team only lost 5 HP rather than me going for somebody else. Gogan's now backing with 100 HP and he's used Shield Wall. Wow, that's a top level move right there. I'm going to use Dream of Mirrors and bring in Gatekeeper. We already had an introduction to him earlier, so I'll go through that again. But Gatekeeper's going to come straight in and use Lightning Rider. Spear of Light from Ray's failed. Now, with Dream of Mirrors, if you can defeat the Gatekeeper in the free healing rounds, I will not be able to resummon the Gatekeeper for another time if I use Dream of Mirrors later on. So, another 50 damage with Puppet Master being used on Gogan and Meadow, bringing Gogan down to 35. And then Ray comes in with Spear of Light, 650 damage. There isn't the 100 damage because it's not a shadow. So, Gatekeeper is gone, so now it's going to be a case of can they roll to attack the Skeleton Witch. I feel like if I can get Gogan out, because he keeps stopping with Shield Wall, stopping the amount of damage that can be done, we can get rid of him. Next up will be Meadow as the next target. 200 damage there with Hell Awaits, plus 50 damage to Meadow. Gogan is finally defeated, and 50 off Meadow as well. So Meadow's going to be the next point of call now. Spear of Light has fouled again. And 320 now from Polar Explosion. And the bar is used the Elemental Breakdown, so it's Shadow, so everyone would have gained 1 spirit, there's no spirits to be gained. And how much damage is he going to do for it? 140 damage off the Shadow Breakdown. Okay, very good. So that's brought the Skeleton Witch down to 780 now. He's getting pretty close, he's really in range now. I can see why he keeps going for Ray's special, Ray's Power Art, because that will just devastate the amount of HP left. So 75 damage now to Meadow. Oh, and Ray's hit with 750 there. As Ray's skills down to 30 HP. This is going to be it. How's he going to go out with? Oh, he went to go for Sacrifice. which is where the Guardian basically sacrifices himself and does their max amount of damage. But Meadow's going to come in. Everlight Nebula, guaranteed 100 damage, and the Skeleton Witch is defeated. Wow, there was a lot going on. I don't know if you could follow it. There was so much happening there between obviously the cut footage here and trying to keep up the commentary. There was a lot happening in that final battle. But he really came in clutch there with, if you think about across the campaign, he was behind. He lost two Slayers earlier on in the campaign. He's behind me for a long period of time. He was able to leapfrog me at the end. Gogan was on the brink of death for such a long time, and he still came back to win the day, leaving me on the outskirts of the Skeleton Witch's castle. Well, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. Post-commentating is quite a challenge as well. I'm trying to follow my notes, read the cards, and I guess stay somewhat entertained as well throughout the duration. So I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, it's the first time I've done something like this. It's a real, I found it a bit of a challenge to put this together. I enjoyed it as well. I had a lot of fun watching it back and editing it as well. And just one last thing, I'm not going to include the epilogue here in this video. I don't want to spoil any of the story elements. So all I can say for now is thank you so much for checking out the video if you stayed to the end. Thank you for checking out the Kickstarter, and I'll see you next time.